To play your best, attitude and mindset are key. The saying, look good, feel good, play good, simply didn't come along by accident, and it's what Envious Gameware does with every team for which they design jerseys. Envious Gameware designs high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and they're the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. Find them online, enviousgameware.com.
Bridges have connected people for centuries. When it comes to helping small businesses build bridges with the people they serve, there's a new gold standard. 412 Communications offers a uniquely comprehensive array of media solutions to help your brand establish and maintain strong, lasting connections with your clientele.
State College Club Hockey is sponsored by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy in Kenmore for over 60 years. By Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. By Pool Mart. For any pool, hot tub, or patio need, Pool Mart is your fun store. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for small business digital media solutions. By Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. And by Colvin Cleaners. For dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and more, Colvin Cleaners is who the Bengals trust to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. This is the Nickel City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for college, high school, and junior hockey. Microphone 1, check 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, check 1, 2.
Mic 2, check, 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 check. Mic 2.
good evening, and welcome to the Northtown Center at Amherst. For the second time in a week, it's Buffalo State versus UB. We are live from the Northtown Center at Amherst for an early season UNYCHL matchup. Hello, I'm Aaron Alpern alongside John Dwyer as we get you ready for Puck Drop with the Ivy Leaf Pharmacy pregame show. And John, UB looking to pick up where they left off a week ago in this rivalry.
Yeah, that's correct. The Bulls opened their season last week with a 5-1 win at Buff State. That snapped a 4-game Bengals winning streak in the series. This will be meeting number 11 between the two schools. UB holds a 6-4 edge in those games, and they also look to move 3-0 early on.
Yeah, the Bulls won. Yeah, they won in convincing fashion last night. They had Penn State Barron College here at the Northtown Center. It was a 15-5 win for the Bulls. Tommy McCarron leading the way with 2 goals and 2 assists. 16 UB players recording points in last night's game. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Buffalo State lost their second in a row last night, a tough 4-3 decision to the University of Georgia. Now 1-2 on the year, this suddenly becomes a huge game for the Bengals. Schedule's not getting any easier with Binghamton, Niagara, and Niagara County Community College looming on the schedule in the next 3 games. Almost makes this one a must-win game for Buffalo State.
Yeah, we have a bit of a different look from Buff State than last week against UB, with a number of key contributors. We're out of last lineup next Saturday, and we look for guys like Ben Gallivan, Mike Guerrero to make an impact tonight. Gallivan has 3 goals on the year, Guerrero a pair, and their 2 games. UB will have to deal with those 2, making the task a bit more difficult than last week.
Yeah, those were 2 of the guys that weren't in the lineup in last week's game between these two schools. One guy that was, Brett Sardina, number 53 for the Bengals. That's another player that Coach Tim Turner will be looking to tonight. The team's leading scorer last year already has 3 goals this year. That includes an eye-popping bar-down snapshot last night on the power play against Georgia. Meantime, the Bulls' leading scorer, Matt Tulo, he is back in the swing of things this year. Tulo scored a goal, the first goal of the game in this matchup last week. He added 3 more points last night as well.
Yeah, this year's versus the Bulls is showing more depth than last season. Often it was Tulo's line relied on carried offense, but with additions like Tommy McCarron and Dylan Foresta this year, opponents will have a lot more than the one trio to be wary of.
And really, you kind of look at that, it's a full roster that has gotten deeper. You look at the back end as well, the defensemen. Seems to be a deeper D-core that is part of the recipe for UB this season. The 6 defensemen that we saw last week in this matchup against Buff State, they were excellent in that game. They did an excellent job throughout denying Buffalo State a whole lot of opportunities in the offensive zone, and then they were very effective getting the puck up ice quickly with strong passing.
Yeah, and our goaltending matchup tonight in goal for the visiting Bengals is number 1, A.J. White. White made 46 saves last week against UB and truly kept his team in the game. At the other end, it's number 30, Craig Kuntz, with a 4.14 goals against average last season, because this is his first start today, with a .852 save percentage.
Yeah, this is the 3rd game for the Bulls here this year. Already they've managed to get 3 different goaltenders in net. A.J. White being the only netminder for the Buffalo State Bengals. He's been in net for every single minute of action so far for Buffalo State. And he will be in net yet again tonight. We're about ready for a face-off here from the Northtown Center at Amherst, as the Bengals and Bulls have completed their warm-ups. And we should get ready for the public address announcement as we meet the starting lineups for tonight. And then we'll have the national anthems coming up in just moments here. You're listening to the Nickel City Hockey Network and its live coverage of Buffalo State College Club hockey. We now head down to ice level to meet the starting lineups.
Starting on defense for your Buffalo Bulls, number 26, Ben Weingart. The other defenseman, number 8, Brandon Lee Kersey. The first forward, number 29, Jared Powarski. The other forward, number 10, Cam Bass. And the third forward, the captain, number 20, Matt Tulo. Starting in net tonight for your Bulls, number 30, Craig Coons. And your Bulls are coached by Cody Felser. At this time, we ask that you fans please rise if you are able and remove your caps for the playing of the Star Spangled Banner.
And welcome inside the Northtown Center at Amherst. We're about ready for puck drop. It is the Bengals and Bulls meeting for a second time here in the early going this season. It was UB coming out with a 5-1 win last week at Buffalo State. These two teams rekindling the rivalry yet again here tonight at the Northtown Center at Amherst, getting their two matchups out of the way with early here this year. Good evening, my name is Aaron Elpern, joining you for the call of tonight's game alongside John Dwyer, as well as camera operator Jeff Jazarowski, getting ready for what should be an exciting matchup here between these two longtime rivals. As we were talking about in the pregame show, John, it is the 11th meeting between these two schools. Obviously, there's a lot of familiarity.
This crosstown rivalry, it's going to be a great game. With last night's win, 12 different Bulls on UB scored. And head coach Felser says we're a lot deeper than we were last year. We relied heavily on that first line with Tulo.
Yeah, and that's the line that will be getting the start here tonight. Tulo along with Pawarski. And then on the left side, Cam Bass. We're underway here from the Northtown Center. Thank you for joining us on the Nickel City Hockey Network. Just underway as Tulo carries it into the offensive zone. First shot right in on goal, a hard slap shot right to the glove side. A.J. White making the catch with the glove hand and holding on for a whistle. So already a shot in on goal here just 12 seconds in, John.
Yeah, right away we see that glove save by A.J. White. We're going to see more of that today.
A little bit of a false start there on the draw. Crapsey being excused. Actually, no, he is allowed to stay in there. And now we see exactly what goes on with the draw. Tulo winning it cleanly back to the point. LaCursi trying to get a shot in from that left point position. Like he hit a body on the way through. Now the Bengals look to counter with Guerrera. Guerrera and Crapsey almost run into each other as they enter the zone. Referee falls on the play on the far side. He's back on his feet. Bengals keeping it in, though. As the shot coming in from the right point, Ryan Hahn got deflected on its way through. Hahn now trying to keep it in there at his point position. Just couldn't quite settle that one down. Now a chance to move it up ice for Pawarski. On his stomach, dumps it into the zone, and now some changes being made by UB, but it's still a couple guys in the offensive zone putting on that forecheck pressure. Bengals get away from that pressure as Guerrera carries it through the neutral zone. Guerrera on the far side takes a shot from distance. Coons with the save, kind of a thick rebound out there towards the slot. Bengals unable to find it, and now a counter play as a 2-on-2 into the Bulls' offensive zone as Tulo takes it wide, tries to wrap it around the front, knocked out of the air by a high stick by a Bulls player in front, and that's going to be blown or not blown dead, as it was the Bengals finding control of that and quickly getting it up ice to Gallivan. Gallivan across the blue line on his backhand, takes a shot from a tough angle, goes just wide. Goaltender bumps the left post there, and it ends up coming off the mooring, so we have a stoppage in play. A little bit more than a minute into the action here, as Bengals will have an offensive zone draw coming up. 18:43 to go in the first period, still awaiting the game's first goal.
Yeah, Buff State, what they got to do today is keep control of the puck in their own defensive zone. That was a problem they had last night against Georgia, a very disciplined team. So today against their UB, they're going to look to do that.
Something you also saw last week in this matchup. Bengals with a lot of difficulty in just getting the puck out of the zone. Good solid hit there as Cole Newman jumps up from his point position to dislodge the UB player from the puck. UB, though, still finding possession of it here just inside their own blue line. D-to-D pass, and they're quickly up ice here through the neutral zone. This is McCarron across the blue line, loses control of it, and that allows Jankowski to come back in the other direction. Jankowski dumping it in and giving chase himself on the forecheck. Takes a big hit there from Hummel, but it's going to be Gallivan finding control of the puck. Gallivan gets that one out in front. Nice chance there from the doorstep. Jankowski with a point-blank chance, but Craig Coons with an excellent save, sliding from his right to left to get across the crease and make that stop and keep this one a 0-0 game.
Great job playing his area. He bounced it back off the goalpost and played it back to himself. Maybe we're looking for a wraparound. I don't know yet, but so far Buff State's looking to capitalize on their fast, strong offensive zone.
Face-off coming up to the left of Coons. And on the draw here, it's going to be Oliver and Stotz for Buff State. Oliver winning that draw for the Bulls, and they look to start their breakout here up the near side. Felser unable to settle that one down. Pernetta's shot from the point hits a skate and doesn't get through. Now the Bulls look to pick it up and move it up ice quickly. That pass doesn't connect to Dylan Felser, and that allows Pernetta to pick it up behind his own net. Tries to make a D-to-D pass behind the net, but it ends up hitting the side of the cage. Now back to the point to Abbott. Good block there by Mendick to keep that shot from getting through. And now Stotz has a chance to carry it into the zone. Tries to get a pass across to Hager, but that one doesn't connect. Now Felser in the neutral zone for UB. Felser just dumps it in behind the Bengals cage, and a UB player is the first one to it there in the near corner. Eventually it is settled down there by Jack Everett. Now he has a chance to get a pass out in front of the net. Give and go look being made there with Oliver. Just couldn't quite connect on that second pass in front. Again, they have a player camped out in front trying to set up that pass that one of the things that kind of victimized Buff State last night. Georgia had a lot of play down below the goal line, quickly getting it out in front. See whether or not the Bengals have done made the adjustments that they need to clean up some of that defensive zone coverage.
And that's where they lost possession the most. Behind the goal, there was that fight between the two, and that's where they need to capitalize.
Puck is turned over there. Oliver comes in 1-on-2, cuts towards the center of the ice, gets himself a lane to get that shot in on goal. A.J. White making the save. Cole Newman tries to start it up the right side, but it is picked off, and a quick shot right after the intercepted pass, right in on goal and past A.J. White. It is the UB Bulls getting the game's first goal, and it was a quick, opportunistic play that made it happen. Puck came right in on goal. A.J. White made the initial save, and then Bengals tried to play it out the far side as it was pass intercepted and then quickly fired right in on goal. And UB with the first goal of the game, and it's a 1-0 Bulls lead here as we are get a couple new lines out there and ready to go for another faceoff at center ice. This is going to be Daddario and Lotempio on the draw.
Yeah, they just can't have UB set up like that. They were in the offensive zone for a little long, and Buff State's got to clear the puck out. Maybe got to dump and chase, but they're looking to capitalize right here.
A little bit of a response here from this shift to start off so far. Gallivan with a shot in on goal, but a good save there made by Coons. Dylan Foresta being credited with the game's first goal. He had a strong outing in the game last week. Was one of the Bulls' better players and a big reason why they came out with a resounding victory over Buff State. And he's on the board here again tonight, intercepting a pass and firing a quick low shot to get the Bulls out in front early. Bulls again here in the offensive zone as bodies colliding in this rivalry matchup. Not surprised to see a little bit of animosity built up as there's plenty of familiarity after they played last week. Shot comes in from the point. That was Weingart letting that slap shot go. There was a rebound there briefly. Foresta almost had a chance for his second of the game. Bulls keeping it here in the offensive zone, cycling it on the far wall. Now back to the point to LaCourcy. Steps into a wrist shot. Shot right in on goal. There was a rebound there for a second. A.J. White had to make 2 saves on the play. Puck again comes back to LaCourcy at that left point. His shot goes high and wide and then out to these near boards. Shot then taken by Weingart. Doesn't get through. Now the Bengals again trying to clear it, but that pass is again intercepted on the far side. Now the Bengals kind of running into each other there on the far boards. Taken away by Foresta, and he keeps it moving in the offensive zone. UB taking advantage of this, making some changes here as they have Buff State locked down in their own zone. It appears we're going to have a penalty called as the referee in the neutral zone had his arm up, and it looks like it's going to be a penalty going against Buffalo State.
Yeah, UB today, they've been really working well with their rebounds off of A.J. White today. You know, first goal we saw a rebound. They stayed in that zone. They capitalized off that rebound.
Looks like it's been a slashing call against Buffalo State captain Joe Lotempio, so the Bulls have the first goal of the game. They've had a decent amount of offensive time, or a lot of time in the offensive zone. Now they get a chance on the power play here, as we're a little bit less than 5 minutes into the action here. It's going to be Gallivan on for this draw. UB winning it, though, and that gives them a chance to set up their power play. Right out in front, 2 shots from point-blank range. A.J. White makes 1 save, and then the second one goes off the post.
There's that rebound.
Yeah, Buff State narrowly avoiding going down 2 there quite quickly here on the power play. Hummel's shot comes in from the right point. Rebound is spat right out onto a UB stick and put home quickly. It's 2-0 in an instant, not even 18 seconds into the power play.
Yeah, and it's the rebound they're got to work on, and I wanted to say they need to keep possession of the puck in the zone, but now they just got to control that rebound. Maybe A.J. White has to cover up some of his saves.
So a quick start already from the UB Bulls. They put up 15 goals last night, and they look to be well on their way to try to match that here tonight. They already have 2 goals in just over 5 minutes, and it's a 2-0 lead on their crosstown rivals, the Buff State Bengals.
Buff State, they just need to be calm, cool, and collected. They need to slowly take the puck up the ice, and they do have a strong strength with their fast pass rushing, but they need to be a little more calm with the puck.
Bulls again here in the offensive zone, settled down there in the far corner. Pass comes out in front. Shot ends up being blocked on its way through, but then the shot comes from the left point. A.J. White making the stick and pad save on that one, then angling the rebound off to the far corner. 3 players from each side battling for possession. Eventually it was found by a UB player and a quick shot in on goal. As Tulo let that one go, A.J. White making another save. He's been called on to make a number of saves already here in the early going. UB forcing a turnover in the neutral zone. Tulo brings it back across the Buff State blue line. He's got Crapsey on him. Both players go to the ice as Pewarski comes in to pick up the loose puck. Pewarski circles the net. A couple of passes are connected on. Now Abbott from the midpoint. Shot right in on A.J. White. He makes the blocker save, and now the Bengals look to counter. That pass kind of rolls off the stick of Guerrera, and then Crapsey takes a huge hit as he ran into Abbott there right along the UB blue line. As some of the physicality now picking up already. Cam Bass into the offensive zone. He takes a little bit of a bump. His pass ends up going to a vacant point or vacant boards there off to the side. The Bengals get it up ice. Now in the offensive zone as Guerrera puts some pressure on the Bulls defense. Getting away from that pressure though, and now moving it up ice is going to be Pauly. Bengals though force a loose puck in the neutral zone briefly. Puck taken back away again, and now McCarron drives it into the offensive zone. McCarron circling the net, looking for a passing option, gets it back to the point. Pass was a little bit behind its intended target, but Weingart settles it down. Tries to get a pass back into the high slot, but Caden Mendick in the way of that one. Mendick now through the neutral zone, loses control of it as he gets to the blue line. That allows UB to find possession of it. And that was pass from Hummel starting it up the near side. Connects with Brady. Brady ends up having to settle it down yet again just inside his own blue line, and that allows Stotz to pick it up. Defenseman falls down on the play. Stotz with a backhand pass just couldn't get that one through the defenseman's skates. He had two different Bengals players in front looking for that pass. McCarron with some speed, a quick pass up ice. That one unable to be handled by Cohen. Then it comes back to McCarron, just can't handle that one. It comes back to the point where it's kept in by Hummel. Hummel with two men on him just dumps it into the near corner. Dene trying to pressure the UB forechecker there, gets the puck away from him, but there's nobody up the near boards to get a pass to. And again, the puck is kept in the offensive zone by UB. Cole Newman finally breaking that pressure, tries to get a pass up ice, but that one's intercepted. Does get into the offensive zone where Mendick is harassing one of the UB defenders, but still Bulls manage to get that one up ice, and Jankowski comes into the play late to keep that forecheck pressure going. UB does get away from it though, and they start moving back in the other direction. Nice toe drag move there as it was number 17, Brian O'Shea, making a nice move to get himself loose there. Just couldn't quite get a shot past A.J. White on the play, but Oliver now setting up that pressure, takes a big hit in behind the net. Bengals starting to give some of that physical play back to UB here, as I don't think there's any love lost here between these two schools. Anytime you have two teams playing twice in a week, you know that animosity is going to be built up pretty quickly.
Especially for rivals like these two schools. You know, coming from UB, myself, we are not favorable towards Buff State. So, you know, having these two schools play a sport like hockey, we'll see some physical play.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get a whole lot of crosstown rivalries when you have two different schools in close proximity. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of friendliness between teams like this, especially when you consider the fact that they have met 11. This is now the 11th different meeting since 2017.
I've been noticing UB is using their blue line men very well. They're setting each other up to get those rebound shots.
Yeah, and we were talking about that in the pregame, about how their defense seems to be certainly a major improvement in their unit this year. And the 6 that they had out there last week, it's a little bit of a different unit. I think 5 of the 6 are still out there in this lineup. Very effective, everybody that they've put out in the back end, and that's maybe wasn't a strength last year. It certainly is right now. So
far, we've been predominantly in the Bulls defensive zone. Buff State's defensive zone.
Oh, another big hit there is laying the shoulder into Jankowski. Was the defenseman Hummel coming in from his point position. Sorry, that was Lacursey. Bengals, though, finally find possession, but it's a dangerous spot right there as Joe Lotempio was trying to skate that one out towards the front of his net. Lucky that it wasn't a prime scoring opportunity in the aftermath of that. A little bit of physical play continuing just inside the Buff State blue line, but they're unable to find much possession as they just end up handing possession right back to UB. Bulls dump it in and now make a wholesale change, getting 5 new skaters out there.
The way this game's would go on, you've been thinking UB's been on the power play.
And UB was in the midst of a change there, but for some reason the Bengals didn't take advantage of all the space out there and the time to move it up ice, and ended up just icing it themselves. So with a fresh 5 out there, it will be the UB Bulls enjoying an offensive zone draw here with 10:30 now remaining here in the first.
Yeah, we're 10 minutes into this game. We just like to see Buff State set each other up. We know they're strong, but they have to set each other up and bring it into their own offensive zone.
I don't know what the delay here is, but there seems to be some sort of an equipment issue that the referee wanted to make sure was sorted. Then we have a bit of a false start on the draw, and it appears that the UB center is going to be excused from this faceoff. No, he's not. Daddario is stepping back in. I thought the linesman was kicking him out.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. He did.
Oh. Looks like Joe's talking to the ref a little bit.
Do we have a penalty called here?
What? Whoa. You don't see this every day.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what's being called here. There's a referee in front of the scorer's box. You see Captain Joe Lotempio having a conversation with him.
Oh.
And it's Captain Joe who's getting a penalty on this one. Be interested to see what the call here is on this one, but it's a second opportunity in quick succession to get a power play for UB. Don't quite know what the call was. We're interested to see exactly what the announcement will be over the public address, but it's a chance for UB again on the power play. They already got a power play goal very quickly on their first man advantage opportunity. See what they can do with this one. As conversation going on at the Bengals bench, head coach Tim Turner is not pleased with this call. You can clearly see as he was having an animated conversation.
I just can't wrap my head around
face-off violation.
I was just saying, I could not wrap my head around what could have happened in the face-off zone.
I don't understand that call. Usually if you have a face-off violation, there needs to be a warning first.
Exactly.
Bengals might get an opportunity shorthanded, though. Gallivan into the offensive zone, but a great defensive play as leaving his feet to make that was Pauly. Excellent play, kind of a desperation move by Nick Pauly. Ends up making a great play to deny Ben Gallivan the opportunity. Foresta now back in the opposite direction. Offsides, though, called as the zone entry was not as clean as the Bulls would have liked it. So a neutral zone faceoff coming up, 9:50 to go in the period, 1:22 remaining in the penalty.
I just want to go back to that face-off violation. What exactly do you think it was? Just talking to the ref, or what would you assume?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. I am puzzled by that call because there was a discussion before the face-off. I'm guessing I'm just trying to speculate here and come up with a possible call. I am confused and might ask for an explanation myself during the intermission because that was a head scratcher.
I've never seen it before.
Well, 1:10 to go in the power play here for UB as they have it set up below the goal line, connecting on one pass and now back to the point. This is going to be O'Shea setting it up at the midpoint. He's got Sardina on him in close proximity, making sure he doesn't have a whole lot of room. Tries to get that pass into the mid-slot. Sardina read that one nicely. Now a chance for Crapsey possibly. Nick Crapsey in behind the defense looking for a shorthanded goal. Tried to go 5-hole, but Coons with a good read on that one, making the stop and keeping this one a 2-0 UB lead.
Yeah, lost his handle on that one a little.
Like it just kind of rolled on him as he was coming into the zone with it.
Unfortunate roll.
Didn't quite get all the options available to him. Just had to take the shot that was there as he was running out of time to make some sort of decision. Now O'Shea into the offensive zone again as UB again looks to set up their power play. This power play not nearly as effective as the previous one as they scored just 18 seconds into that last power play. Buff State doing a much better job here on this penalty kill. Actually, both of the opportunities during this power play have been generated by the Buff State Bengals, the team that's shorthanded.
Yeah, Buff State, we've seen a lot of odd man rushes. I know last night one of our goals was on an odd man rush, and they're looking for those, but we just need to see that team chemistry.
Three players colliding with each other there in the neutral zone. Michael Guerrera getting the better of that, ended up knocking down two different UB players. And again, the Bengals doing a good job here of denying UB the opportunity to move it up ice into the offensive zone. Just 6 seconds now remaining on the Bengals penalty.
We'd like to see this play with full force right now after this power play is over.
Lotempio exits the box. This could be an opportunity for an odd man rush. Stotts tries to get it across to him, but a really good play there by LaCourcy on that far side as he didn't give Stotts much room at all to operate. A little bit more physical play there in the neutral zone as that was Tulo and Guerrero running into each other. UB with the puck just inside their own blue line. Try to get it up into the neutral zone to McCarron, but it bounces off of his stick, and now Joe Lotempio finds it, but McCarron steals it right back from him. McCarron just inside the blue line now as he circles back towards the point. Takes a huge hit there as Cole Newman throws the shoulder into him just inside the top of the circle. Newman again throws a hit, and this one's going to be penalized, I think. As now we have a little bit of a scrap in front of the net here. Now it's a full-on melee as the defenseman comes in to join the play as it's Guerrera involved from Buff State. Couldn't quite tell which player. We got a second one going on here behind the net. As we talked about the animosity being there between these two schools, already it is spilling over in the early going.
He's still going at it. Come on, man. Play's dead.
We got two different Bengals players already in the penalty box. Tommy McCarron heading to the box for UB as well. Referees going to have their hands full here, as it seems like this one has already quickly gotten to an angry game between these two teams.
Yeah, Buff State, their first opening game against Brockport, that was a very physical game, and I think this game will overshadow that. 12 minutes in, and we've already seen a full-fledged scrap.
Well, as the referees have a conversation here to determine what sort of penalties are going to be doled out on this play, they have a lot of different options, that's for sure. We're going to take a quick check around the league right now, as there are plenty of games happening across the UNY-CHL today. And we have a final from Binghamton, as it was the Binghamton Bearcats pulling off a 6-4 victory in their home opener, their season opener today. They defeat the Niagara University Purple Eagles as Binghamton moves to 1-0 on the season with the 6-4 win over Niagara. Niagara is 1-1 on the season. Purple Eagles again in action tomorrow. They host the University of Georgia, and we will have live coverage of that game right here on the Nickel City Hockey Network. Please join us for that coverage tomorrow, but we still have plenty to go here from the Northtown Center at Amherst as the referees continue with their discussion over what sort of penalties are going to be called on that play. You had, looked like 2 or 3 different scraps, fights going on the ice at once.
We're most likely going to see a 4-minute penalty, maybe.
I'm interested to see whether or not anyone's going to get kicked out.
Yeah. Because
that's really where the difference is going to be. If there are any players that are excused from this game from either side, there were a lot of key players that were a part of that. McCarron for UB, he is one of their key new contributors to the team. Captain Joe Lotempio for Buff State, as well as Cole Newman. Those are all guys that are certainly going to be counted on here in this game. We're going to be interested to see if they're all still a part of this game moving forward.
And it looks like Captain Joe Lotempio is joining the fellows in the box. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, the 3 guys in the box are Guerrera, Lotempio, and Newman, and just McCarron in the penalty box so far. So now there's a conversation between the referee and Captain Joe Lotempio. It looks like Lotempio's being kicked out of the game.
Well, it looks like the crowd's getting into it as well.
Wouldn't expect it to be any different, as the referees have maybe had an uneven start to this game so far. We have one mystery face-off violation call that I'm still going to want an explanation on. And then there is a melee in the Buff State zone around the Buff State cage. And only one player has been kicked out of the game for it, and it is the Buff State captain, Joe Lotempio.
Yeah, and after this all unfolds, we're definitely going to see a response from Buff State.
Still a continuing conversation here between the officials and the captain for UB, Matt Tulo, assistant captain or alternate captain for Buff State, Ryan Hahn, trying to get an explanation on this one. The scorer's box still doesn't have an explanation as they seem to be confused about what the exact call here is. The referees had a quick conversation, but they didn't apparently say, you got to put this time up there.
Whoa.
We have 3 teams here on the ice tonight, the UB Bulls, the Buffalo State Bengals, and the referees. 2 of them were definitely ready for puck drop. I'm not sure the folks in stripes were.
No, I don't think so.
7:52 remaining here in first period play. It looks like it's going to be a UB power play coming up after we finally get all the penalties sorted out. Another conversation going on. There's been 4 different conversations at the scorer's box, but they haven't managed to get the penalties actually conveyed to the people that need to know it.
It looks like it'll be a 5-on-3 in favor of UB coming on here. Score box is still, they're trying to figure out what's going on. Stripes is coming back to figure it out. And no, he's not. So
well, while we have a moment here, just a reminder that Buffalo State College Club Hockey is sponsored by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy in Kenmore for over 60 years. By Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. By Pool Mart. For any pool, hot tub, or patio need, Pool Mart is your family fun store. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for small business digital media solutions. By Envious Gameware, the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. And by Colvin Cleaners, who the Bengals trust to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. All right, as you suggested was the case, it is a 5-on-3 in favor of the Bengals. It is a 4-minute penalty to Michael Guerrera.
And they capitalize on that.
Right away, it is a quick shot taken, a low-risk shot by Cam Bass, and it gets past A.J. White. And just like that, not even 7 seconds into the power play, it's now a 3-0 UB lead.
You know, I can't even blame him. I was a bit confused myself. I'm sure Buff State's confused. You know, head coach Tim Turner, he wants a better explanation for that. They took all that time to talk to the scorer's box, and it looks like the scorer's box still doesn't know what's going on. So it's just all a mess.
So it's going to be 5-on-4 now. It looks like there are 4 Bengals players out there getting ready for this face-off. Not sure if that's actually... You have to sort whether the referees agree with that being the right personnel.
I guess it is. It's going to be 5-on-4 in favor of UB.
And it's going to be for another 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So the double minor to Guerrera still up on the board. Cole Newman's penalty has been released. Not sure exactly what the call against Lotempio was, as we're still waiting for the announcements here. But either way, now 5-on-4 for another 3.5 minutes for UB.
Yeah, following all that, there's going to be a lot of physical play in this game. Second period, we're going to see a lot more with 7:17 left in the first period.
And another 2 might be 2 minutes for cross-checking plus 2 minutes for ball.
UB continuing their power play going here as they have an opportunity to get a shot in from the mid-slot. That got blocked on its way through. Bass then gets a pass out in front. He's got a man wide open there. It's Jack Everett. He puts it home. It's now 4-0 as UB has certainly taken advantage of these calls going in their favor.
That was a great setup. So served on a silver platter right there. He sold up in the slot, top shelf.
And UB picking up exactly where they left off both last week in this rivalry as well as last night. They put up 15 goals in last night's game, 4 already, not even 13 minutes here into the action. 3 of them, though, as said, coming on the power play. And some of those penalty calls we're still a little bit confused on. Have to get the full explanation exactly what all the calls that were given out for the fight that was going on here a couple minutes ago. Still 2 minutes up on the board as it was a double minor against Guerrera that was called. So still 2 minutes remaining in the UB power play here as we are under 7 minutes to go here in the first period. UB getting it set up. Shot coming in from the left point. Save being made on the play as Cohen let that shot go.
Big hit on the blue line.
Stotz runs his man over on the blue line, but UB might get an opportunity down low. Save made by A.J. White, and Stotz looks to bring it back up ice. Stotz across the blue line, but can't quite coordinate there with Crapsey. Crapsey in just offsides on the play. So we'll have a neutral zone faceoff coming up. 1:30 to go in the second penalty against Buffalo State, and 6:32 remaining in the period.
Yeah, we just need to see the Bengals keep their stick on the ice. They passed goal. That was a fanned clearing attempt, and we saw that issue yesterday too in one of the goals against Georgia.
This is a moment where the Buff State team really needs to catch its breath because this is kind of come at them quickly here in this game. I know that there was a lot of excitement coming into this one to get some revenge for last week's loss. It's really been a fast start for UB with some benefits from some of the power plays that they've been given here in this game. Bengals are going to have to catch their breath, kill off the rest of this penalty, and then try to do something to get back into this game.
Earlier in this game, Buff State looked very good shorthanded. They were bringing it up the ice, working together, connecting. We just want to see more of that right now.
Hummel at the right point, setting it up and getting it down low. Back to the point. Hummel has it again. He's got a screen in front. There's a rebound opportunity, and that one's put home by Dylan Felser. A golden opportunity on the doorstep, and he had plenty of time and space to put that one home. And it's now 5-0 UB with 4 goals coming on the power play. So they've certainly taken advantage of what they've gotten here in this game, the opportunities that have been given to them. But you really have to make a point of saying that Buff State has been essentially handicapped in this game throughout by some head-scratching calls. I can't understand how they ended up with a 5-on-3 from a fight that there were 3 UB players involved
predominantly UB.
And only 1 UB player ended up in the penalty box with just 2 minutes while there was a Buff State player kicked out, another one got a double minor, and then the original Buff State penalty. It's a lot to have to overcome. It's basically like 6 minutes in penalties to overcome, and UB made sure they took advantage of it, though. Got 3 goals and now have a comfortable 5-0 lead. Still have A little bit less than 6 minutes to go here in the first period.
And UB's 12, Tommy McCarron, is still in the box.
I'm not sure exactly what call he ended up. That might have been a 10-minute misconduct.
Could have been.
Which is a puzzling call that he gets 10, but the guy he was involved with, Joe Lotempio, gets kicked out of the game.
Especially when Joe was on the ice and he just continued, so puzzling.
Yes. Anyway, it's UB looking to keep that momentum going. Weingart lets a wrist shot go from the right point. Save made by A.J. White. McCarron now being released from the penalty box as eventually his penalty has expired. So 5:17 to go in the first period. It's a 5-0 lead for UB, and this game's been wild.
Yeah, and our camera guy, Jeff, he's telling me that didn't seem like a 10-minute misconduct. It was a little less than that, so we're all confused here, but we're looking to see some more hockey.
A little bit more than 5 minutes to go in the first period, and again, it's UB setting up here in the offensive zone, getting it down low and connecting on a couple of passes. Try to cycle it down on that far boards, but Alex Gosen gets in the way, quickly gets that one up ice. Crapsey tries to get that one to Guerrera, but that pass doesn't connect, and now Abbott in his own zone, circling his own net, looking to start the UB breakout.
Yeah, the Bengals, they need to keep control in the offensive zone. They haven't done so yet. Not that I've seen today.
Haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to play even strength in this game. It's been difficult to have that time in the offensive zone because they've spent so much of the period down a man, or several men.
We haven't had much time to play the game. The refs keep stopping the play. We had that controversy with the fight.
I don't like this icing call against UB either.
Yeah, it's
that was like a step on their side of the red line,
yeah.
And they called a quick icing when there was a pile of players from where the puck was released.
It's a mess.
I try not to comment too much about officiating, but when it makes a difference in how the game goes, you can't help but make a comment about what's happening on the ice.
You don't have to make a comment about it, but the fact that there's been so many puzzling calls already in the first with 4:35 to go, yeah, you can.
Officiating's a thankless job. All they ever get is complaints.
Yeah.
We try to compliment them when they deserve it, but when they don't, I can't help but make some sort of note about it.
When the officials make that first mistake, we'll let the crowd do the banter with them.
Yes, and we've already heard the crowd giving voicing their displeasure at some of the calls here already. Shot coming in from Cole Newman there as he tried to carry it into the offensive zone. Got deflected on the way through up into the protective netting, but an offensive zone draw coming up for the Bengals. And it's going to be Mendick on the draw for the Bengals. Tulo on for Buffalo. UB Bulls finding possession off the draw. Pewarski quickly up ice, chips it past the Bengals defenseman, gets it into the offensive zone. Shot right in on goal. Difficult one for A.J. White to handle. Did manage to make that save. UB, though, finding possession. Back to the point to Abbott. That one comes in across the blue line. Can't keep the zone as it's going to be an offsides violation against the UB Bulls. So a face-off coming up right below our broadcast position. Now 4:04 to go in a strange first period. Certainly one that the UB Bulls don't want to do over again. They've been more than happy with how this has gone. Obviously not the same case from the Buff State side of things, as we have almost another face-off violation being called there. I want to know exactly what's going on with this linesman in these draws, because a lot of those conversations have started there.
Yeah, and I'm not on the blue line, but that offsides call just on its own, it seemed a little, 50-50 on that.
Good call there, or good hit there rather, by Luke Stotz as he knocked his man down just inside the Buff State blue line. Puck ends up being deflected out of play in the aftermath, and again we'll have a neutral zone draw coming up right in front of the penalty box to our right. Bengals making a couple of changes. It's going to be Tulo and Sardina on for this draw. 3:46 to go in first period action. Puck comes back to Cole Newman on the draw, but he gets it out in the neutral zone, sent right back in by the UB defenseman Patrick Brady. And then a big hit there on the far side as it was Dene stepping into his guy. Back in the opposite direction, this is Gallivan. Gallivan avoids one poke check, gets the backhand shot in on goal. Coons making the save on that one. And now UB looking to quickly get the puck out of the zone. Into the neutral zone. Dene, though, finding it there and getting it to the UB blue line, but can't get it in the zone as Pewarski tries to get it up ice, but he loses control of it, and Gallivan takes it away. Gallivan across the blue line. Good poke check there by Brady to get him off of the puck, and now the Bengals have to retreat back to their own blue line. Dene with it here, gets it up ice. He's got Cole Newman. Newman has plenty of room to move that one up ice. He's got Sardina. Sardina lets a shot go, but a nice block there as Hummel got in the way of that one. Made sure it hit him in the leg and didn't get through on his netminder. Cam Bass now into the offensive zone, got around the defenseman, ends up drawing a penalty on this play, as this one's going to be Ryan Hahn taking the tripping minor. I will say I agree with this call, because if I'm going to be critical of ones previously, I should at least note when I agree with them. In this case, it was Hahn getting caught just a little bit flat-footed and the UB player getting around him. Probably a smart decision to take that penalty. Otherwise, it's a pretty much a breakaway from just inside the blue line. Yeah, the Bengals' previous offensive zone possession, I think, may have been their longest. They kept it in zone for a little bit. They brought it back to the neutral zone and brought it back in. And even though maybe it was a minute 30 and change, it still might have been their longest one. Yeah, the problem with it, though, is that they tried to extend their time in the offensive zone and maybe weren't as quick coming back and getting ready to play defense, and that's maybe what allowed the UB player to get a step on the Buff State defenseman. Minute 45 to go in the UB power play as Foresta carries it in. Quickly in front to Abbott. Abbott's one-touch shot goes just wide, but the Bulls keep possession. At the left point, that's Felser. Tries to go cross-ice to Everett, but that pass doesn't connect. And Cole Newman's going to get that one out of the zone, eventually settles it down and gets the full clear, sending it back into UB territory. Hunter Oliver going back for it. 2 teams run into each other there as Jankowski bumps Oliver. Eventually settles it back to Foresta, and he starts it up ice to Abbott. Abbott in the neutral zone, a short pass to Felser, and Felser carries it in across the blue line. He's got Stotz and Newman on him. Takes a little bit of a bump there from Newman, but UB keeping possession of it on the far side. Oliver losing it, though, as Stanishewski making a good play on defense to create a loose puck and then send it the length of the ice. Now 54 seconds to go in the penalty to Ryan Hahn, as it is the number 22 for his opposing team, Josh Abbott, starting the breakout for the Bulls. Yeah, it looks like the Bengals are trying to bring out their strong forecheck. They haven't had the opportunity to do so yet, but even with that small possession, I've seen it a couple times. And there's that glove by A.J. White. Yeah, Abbott just dumping that one right in on goal. A.J. just covers it up, holds on for a whistle. So we have 34 seconds to go in the penalty to Ryan Hahn. Bengals have been fairly effective in killing off this power play so far. Minute 21 to go in the first period. A first period that has been all UB Bulls, with the aid of some calls going in their favor from the officials, but that's the way the games are played. You still have to play after those calls are made, and UB did a good job on their power play opportunities. 4 of their 5 goals tonight already on the power play. They have another chance right in front on the power play here, and they dig at the loose puck and eventually put it home. It's now 6-0 UB, as they had plenty of time. It looked like A.J. White might have had that one covered and already showing some frustration here, as it could have made an argument that that puck was covered in the Bengals' crease. Did not get the call in this case, and you're starting to see a frustrated group of Buff State Bengals here, as this period has gone sideways on them in a hurry. Yeah, and it looks like A.J. White's going over to the bench. Tim Turner. Yeah, it looked like he had some issues with his equipment there that he was trying to tell the referees about. Referees not really weren't listening to much of that conversation, as they just make the call of the goal, and 6-0 is where we stand with 1:09 to go here in the period. Bengals making a couple last-second changes here before the neutral zone draw. Bulls winning the draw, trying to get it up ice quickly. That pass is intercepted, though, as Stotz and Jankowski getting in the way there. Matt Tulo getting credit with the goal. The UB leading scorer from last year, already off to a good start so far this year. He had 3 points last night, a goal in the first game of the season, and already on the stat sheet a couple times here tonight. Part of the 6-0 UB lead here in the first period. Bengals trying to get the puck out of the zone here. Pass hits a skate and ends up on a UB stick. They're going to get an opportunity to set up a little bit more time here with 33 seconds to go in the period. Puck in the near corner, comes out to McCarron, but he can't settle it down, and now Stotz up ice with it. So maybe a 3-on-2 for the Bengals into the offensive zone. Stotz gets around the one defender, just can't maintain possession of it, as Brady ended up making a good play to get him off of that puck. UB back in the opposite direction, trying for one last opportunity. Weingart letting that backhand shot go. It was a pad save made by A.J. White, as we have now 10 seconds to go in the period. Jankowski unable to get it out, gets some help from Newman. Now up ice to Mendick, can't settle that one down as the last couple of seconds ticking away here in the period. And the horn will go to signal the end of the first period of play. And it is a massive 6-0 lead in favor of the UB Bulls after 20 minutes. And
during this first intermission, we're going to get some insight on what that face-off infraction was called, and what caused Joe Lotempio to be kicked off the ice.
So 1 period of play is in the books here from the Northtown Center at Amherst. And as mentioned, clearly a period that went very much in favor of the UB Bulls. We're going to have an intermission here where the ice is resurfaced, but we'll be back for second period action of Buffalo State College Club hockey. And support for Bengals hockey comes from Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. To buy, sell, or lease any office, industrial, retail, or investment property, trust the unparalleled knowledge and experience of Militello Realty. 856-2872 or militello.com. Our coverage also brought to you by Ivy Lee Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy for over 60 years. Ivy Lee can cover your immunization needs from flu shots to the newest COVID-19 vaccine, also CBD products, home health care, and all of your pharmacy needs. Ivy Lee Pharmacy, 2446 Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore or ivyleepharmacy.com. Supporters also include Pool Mart, your family fun store. Whether you're looking for a pool, hot tub, patio furniture, supplies, or more, Pool Mart has 5 locations across Western New York and Northern Pennsylvania to meet your specific needs. You can find them online at poolmartonline.com. Our coverage also brought to you by Colvin Cleaners. Dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and all garment services. Colvin Cleaners is the region's premier green earth dry cleaner. And it's also where the Buffalo State Club hockey team goes to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. ColvinCleaners.com or visit them on Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore. And supporters include Envious Gameware, the official uniform provider of the Buffalo State Club hockey team. They're online at enviousgameware.com. And by 412 Communications, the new gold standard for digital media solutions for small businesses. 412 Communications offers consultation for web and graphic design, social media, writing and editing services, multimedia solutions, and more. Visit 412communications.com to learn how they can help your brand build bridges with the people you serve. You're watching the Nickel City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for amateur hockey. We're going to be back for second period play in about 10 minutes. Stay tuned. Buffalo State College Club Hockey is sponsored by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy in Kenmore for over 60 years. By Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. By Pool Mart. For any pool, hot tub, or patio need, Pool Mart is your fun store. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for small business digital media solutions. By Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. And by Colvin Cleaners. For dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and more, Colvin Cleaners is who the Bengals trust to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. This is the Nickel City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for college, high school, and junior hockey. And welcome back to the Northtown Center at Amherst as we get ready for second period play. It is 6-0 the lead in favor of the Buffalo Bulls after one period, and a very strange period of play, I think, is the best way to describe it.
I agree. Still, there's confusion from the players talking to the officials right now.
All right, now explain something to me. I thought Joe Lotempio had gotten kicked out of this game, but I see him getting into the penalty box now, as I can only assume then they've changed their minds in the call and gave him a 10, or, see, this was never communicated by the officials to the scoring box. We've gotten a look at the game sheet, and it's a mess, too. We had no idea exactly what calls were given out there in that first period. So kind of still a little bit of a mystery in terms of some of the officiating here tonight. But one thing we do know for certain, a bunch of UB power plays in that first period, and they took advantage in a big way, scoring 5 of their 6 goals with the man advantage. So it's a 6-0 lead after 20 minutes of play as we get ready for the second period here from the Northtown Center at Amherst. Thank you for joining our coverage here on the Nickel City Hockey Network. My name is Aaron Alpern, alongside color commentator John Dwyer, camera operator Jeff Jazarowski, bringing you the coverage of tonight's game. And now it appears that we're really getting some things sorted out on the penalties as Tommy McCarron, who was released from his penalty during the period, is getting back into the penalty box for UB. So this is a real mystery here as to what calls have been made here in this game. I don't even think the officials know what calls that they made because they didn't communicate it properly. McCarron was trying to get into the penalty box to serve the rest of what he thought was a penalty that he had to serve. The referee skates over and goes, "No, I don't think you need to," and now McCarron heading back to the bench.
There's a whole lot. And it looks like my play-by-play Aaron is trying to figure things out as well with the refs.
I got no idea what is happening here. Now McCarron is coming over to the penalty box. I got no idea what penalty he's serving. I'm not sure the referees really know either because they've kind of been just coming up with answers on the spot here whenever they've had to. I don't know why Lotempio was kicked off the ice in the first place. He's either been allowed back in the game or they changed it to a 10-minute misconduct. It's not actually on the score sheet. So, again, a little bit of a mystery. And the officials here have really a lot of difficulty trying to convey what's happening here in this game because we don't have a clue.
We are hearing now from the scoring box that they had 10-minute misconducts, and that's what we thought. But when McCarron left the penalty box with 5 minutes to spare, we were a bit confused. So apparently they have 10-minute misconducts. There was not a lot of great communication between the officials and the teams in the scores box. Let's just see some hockey now.
Finally underway here in the second period as Bengals here in the offensive zone. Ben Galvin finding possession, getting it down low, looking for Sardina there. Sardina putting some pressure on the defenseman, but LaCourcie gets away from that pressure, moves it through the neutral zone. No icing on this play, however, as A.J. White setting it up for Cole Newman there along the goal line. Bengals now getting it into the neutral zone, pass just a little bit behind Elliott Hunt. Now a foot race for the puck, and it's going to be LaCourcie winning the foot race to the hash marks and an icing call made on that play.
So you're telling me that Joe Lotempio served his quote-unquote 10-minute misconduct, being kicked off the ice, but now he's back in the penalty box. So
yeah, the penalties were somewhere around the 5-minute mark to go in the period, if I remember correctly. So it really wasn't conveyed clearly because everybody here thought he was kicked out of the game. And it certainly looked like that based on the way the official told him to leave the ice.
And the way he left the ice. I thought he was kicked out myself.
Either way you look at it, Bengals and Bulls have 5 players out there aside, and physical play there in the corner, as that was Sardina and Weingart running into each other. Weingart again engages Sardina for an extra shove there in corner. As the puck comes to the near side, Gallivan takes a bump there from his fellow number 8. And now LaCourcie has the puck behind his net, starting to the Bulls break out. Makes a nice look and gets that pass into the neutral zone, and now it's Foresta into the offensive zone. Got Cole Newman on him. Good poke check to keep Foresta from getting a shot away, but it's going to be Daddario keeping the pressure on in the offensive zone. Newman getting it away from that pressure and gets it up to Gallivan in the neutral zone. Gallivan across the blue line now, looking to make a move, but 3 different UB players back there marking him on that play, making sure he didn't get himself free to get a shot away.
Yeah, Buff State, they got to keep their heads up. They're making changes when they're in the offensive zone, and they don't have a lot of time in that. And there we go.
Almost a dangerous turnover there right in front of the Buff State net as Hahn eventually got it over to Stanishewski, but there was a UB player, Pauly, right there on the spot looking for that turnover if it was coming. Bengals connect on a couple passes here in the neutral zone. Now across to Craftsy. Can't quite handle that pass from Guerrera, and he chases it down in the corner. Takes a bump there and gets some help from Gosen as they try to get that loose puck pried out of that corner and get it back to the point. Eventually comes back out in the neutral zone where Guerrera finds control. Guerrera shrugs off one hit, can't get that pass connected on, and now gets across the blue line where Guerrera takes a nice hit there from Abbott. Abbott making sure Guerrera wasn't able to get to that loose puck in the corner. Bulls with possession, now moving it up ice on the near side. Bass with a quick cross-ice pass, and now Pewarski with some speed across the blue line. He's got Tulo in front of the net, tries to get that pass out across. Good play by Staniszewski, getting that stick in the way there and making sure that that pass did not connect.
Now, yesterday against Georgia, I didn't see many hits, but today I've seen more hits than we did last night, and it's not even 3 minutes into the period yet.
I think that's what you get with this rivalry type of matchup, as like it would have been a hand pass that was called there.
Possibly.
Waved off, though. Bengals touch it up, and now a shot comes in from Tulo against the near boards, but that one goes wide and comes out into the neutral zone. Bengals going to have a chance to move it up ice. Crapsey getting it across the blue line and now chasing down the defenseman in the corner, but Pauly getting it away from him, banking a pass off the boards and up to Tulo in the neutral zone. 2-on-3 into the offensive zone. Good defense there from the Bengals to get Tulo off of that puck, but he's got a teammate right there to pick up the loose puck. This is Bass circling the net. Back to the point. Gets a pass across, and now it's stepping in from his point position is Brady. Brady circling the net. Now he gets it back to Hummel, but it's right in his skates. A little bit of difficulty handling that one. He's got to retreat back into the neutral zone where Jankowski's quickly on him. Jankowski bothering Hummel there, trying to create a turnover for the Bengals, but Bulls do a good job of getting it up ice, connecting on a pass there in the neutral zone, and this is going to be O'Shea across the blue line. O'Shea on his backhand now circles around the cage and now retreats back towards the blue line. Gets some help from a point man. Abbott walking in from his point position. Just couldn't quite settle down that move as he tried to go around the Buff State defenseman and get a shot away. Bulls, though, keep it moving here in the offensive zone about 4 minutes into the period. Elliott Hunt finding control of it, looking to start it up ice for the Bengals. Has two different men on him as Velopik gives him a bump there and creates a loose puck. Cole Newman on the spot to help out as well, but it's going to be O'Shea getting a chance to let a shot go.
Leg.
Opportunity to throw a big slap shot in on net. A.J. White making the pad save. Now this is Luke Stotz carrying it through the neutral zone for the Bengals. Stotz into the offensive zone. He's on his backhand, tries to get a shot in from a tough angle. Looked like it just hit off the pads of the goaltender Coons. Now back to the point where Newman's unable to keep it in the zone. Just dumps it right in on goal, and the Bengals have to tag up. 15:37 remaining here in period number 2. A little bit of a different start to this period than the first period had. Bengals might have a chance developing here. Sardina looking for his 4th goal of the year. Just rang that one off the near post. Bulls getting a chance to get it up ice, though, in the aftermath as it's Hummel carrying it through the neutral zone. A little bit of a slow zone entry there, and now the Bulls will have to tag up. But this might be a breakaway as Gallivan gets in behind the defenseman. Gallivan to the backhand.
Through the
5-hole, and he scores. Ben Gallivan on the board for the Bengals. It's a 6-1 game now as the Bengals have a little bit of life now as they've had a good start to this period. First 5 minutes have been pretty even in terms of the play between both sides. Bengals take advantage of an opportunity that comes their way, and their most dangerous scorer, number 8, Ben Gallivan, gets in behind the Bulls defense and makes no mistake on what is his patented move there to the backhand, where he tries to make the goaltender think he's going upstairs with it, gets him to open up the legs, and just softly slides it through. We saw him make that exact same move at Brockport.
I'm surprised Gallivan took it up because they were nearing the end of their shift. I thought they were tired. They looked tired defensively, and they were just going to change, but hey, he took that puck, got right through 5-hole.
Yeah, sometimes you can find a little bit of extra legs when you see that nothing but open ice and a goaltender in front of you can find just that little bit more energy.
You see that light at the end of the tunnel, and he got excited.
More physicality there from the Bulls as it was Weingart engaging there pretty extended period of time with Gosen. Bengals look like they're going to take a penalty here as it's going to be an interference call made in the neutral zone. And this one's about as ticky-tack as it gets because there was a light bit of contact there. The UB player went down fairly easily, and Ryan Hahn gets called for the interference call. I was wondering if there would be any effort made to go for some sort of makeup call from the referees based on the way the first period went with the lopsided number of penalties to the Bengals, but they are quick to call the first penalty of the second period against Buffalo State as well. As mentioned, an interference call against Ryan Hahn, so Bengals are going to have to kill off a penalty here, and already 5 times UB has scored in the power play tonight.
And at this point, we might as well put a cushion in the Bengals penalty box. They've been in there a long time today.
Just a whopping number of penalties. I'm not sure we'd be able to add them all up because I'm not sure they're all correctly on the score sheet quite yet, but it's certainly a large number of penalty minutes so far in this game. And most importantly, it's been a whopping number of power play goals from UB, taking advantage of some of the calls that they've gotten in their favor. Bengals trying to kill this one off. There's Captain Joe Lotempio, still allowed to play in this game, and now out there for the penalty kill. Unable to find possession of that one, though, and it's going to give a chance for Felser to set up the power play. Back to the point to Abbott, tries to get that shot through a crowd. A couple of bodies in front. The rebound comes out to Everett, looking for his second of the game, but a good save by A.J. White as he had to readjust his position there and get into the right spot to make that save.
That redirection right in front of A.J. White, that could have been fatal for the Bengals.
Bengals now get it down ice, killing off a minute here so far of this penalty. Joe Lotempio engaging with the player down there in the corner as the two of them seemed to have no idea where the puck was. They kept on bumping each other there before it finally came free. And now it's going to be Hunter Oliver in the offensive zone for UB. Just tries to softly get that pass out in front. Gets it to Abbott. Abbott's shot right in on goal. He tried to celebrate like he got it in.
Yeah.
I think he was hoping that he got it past A.J. White.
Yeah, A.J. White, he's glued to that side post right
A.J.
there.
made a pretty solid pad save there. You saw the as the UB player had his arms up in the air hoping to celebrate a goal, you saw the puck just fall off the pad out into the crease. So nice save there by A.J. White in close quarters as going to have a face-off coming up to his blocker hand side. 13:20 to go in the second period. 6-1 is the score in favor of UB. Been a decent response in this period so far from Buff State. You'd have to wonder what sort of what the mentality and the mindset was going to be coming off of that first period that went so poorly in their against them. Been a decent response so far. They have the only goal, and it's been a little more even in terms of the balance of play here.
I'd like to know what head coach Tim Turner said to the guys in the locker room. You know, they're facing this adversity with the officials and not a lot of calls for them. So what he said to those guys, he must have been saying, hey, guys, just go play hockey out there.
Whatever he said, he certainly seemed to settle down his team a little bit as these first 7 minutes have been a good response so far. About 8 seconds to go in this most recent Buffalo State penalty. 8 seconds remaining then in that call as it's carried in deep in the offensive zone. Pass comes out in front, but it's in the skates of the UB forward. And Ryan Hahn steps out of the penalty box. The Bengals are back at full strength as a shot goes off the backboards, then right back out to A.J. White. Covers it up with the glove hand, and both teams make an opportunity to make some changes. And 12:32 to go in the second period. Face-off will be coming up in the far circle of the Buff State zone.
And although they have to make up a lot, the Bengals, they have the momentum as of now. In this period, they have the momentum, so we hope to see that they keep it up.
Yeah, I think we were expecting a pretty tightly contested game here in this contest as we have an offsides call being made. Weingart let the shot go despite the offsides call. It went in, I think. I didn't even look to see where the shot went.
It looked like a Chicago Bears double doink at that point. Yeah, right on the line.
Well, either way, it's a neutral zone faceoff coming up after the offsides call. UB winning the draw. LaCourcie looking to get that pass up ice. Eventually it comes to Tulo when he has to circle inside of his own blue line. He's got Guerrera on him, keeping a close eye, though.
I love to see them putting pressure on the Bulls in their own defensive zone.
Tulo carries it forward, gets it to Bass. Bass tries to find LaCourcie at that far post. Couldn't quite get it to him as that pass was up in the air. Now the Bengals forcing a turnover. Cole Newman carrying it up ice. Newman to Guerrera. Drop pass back for Newman, just a little bit offline. And what could have been numbers there for Buff State pretty quickly goes away as now back in the other direction come the UB Bulls. This is the defenseman Weingart jumping in from his point position. Just kind of keeps it moving in behind the net. Pewarski losing his footing there as it's going to be Cole Newman settling it down, looking to start it up ice. Cross ice pass where he finds Crapsey. Crapsey now through the neutral zone, just chips it into the offensive end, and Guerrera chases it down there. Crapsey helping out as well as the two players surround the UB defenseman, and now two players aside trying to find the loose puck. Guerrera finds it, carries it out towards the front of the net, couldn't quite get it to Gosen. Bobby Stanishevsky keeping it in from his point position, and now Crapsey has it on the far boards. Crapsey, cross-ice pass, just a little bit in the skates of Guerrera. If that one would have connected, would have been a nice opportunity for number 3. Guerrera has it here behind the net, tries to get a pass into the slot, but no Bengals there awaiting it. And now an opportunity with numbers for the Bulls. Tulo with a step, just can't quite get to that puck as it had a little bit too much on it for him to catch up to it before it got to the goal line. Under the 11-minute mark now in period number 2 as the Bengals quickly get it out of their zone. They're doing a much better job of keeping UB from setting up that offensive zone time. Mendick carries it in across the UB blue line but can't maintain possession. And now this is going to be Pauly carrying it through the neutral zone for UB. Pauly gains the blue line. He's got Hahn on him. Hahn gives him a little bit of a bump, and then Pauly chases the puck in behind the net. Now Cohen comes in to help out, tries to get that pass out in front, just couldn't quite get it to O'Shea. 2 players from each side trying to find possession. UB finding that possession.
Great save.
Quick play right out in front of the net as it was McCarron set up in a perfect position. Great save, as John mentioned there, by A.J. White.
And it looks like Bengals wanted a high stick there. If that happened to be a shot on goal, that most definitely would have been a high stick.
Battle for a loose puck in the neutral zone. McCarron comes out with it, then gets the better part of the hit. He got his hands a little bit up high on Mendick. No call coming, though, as the puck now comes slowly through the neutral zone, and Abbott goes back to retrieve it for the Bulls. Under 10 minutes to go now here in second period action. It's a 6-1 score. UB getting all of their goals in the first period. Some benefits of some power play opportunities that they got during the course of that first frame. 5 of those 6 goals on the power play in the first period. Buff State with the only goal here in the second. Stotz carrying it through the neutral zone. He had 2 different UB players on him, unable to maintain possession. Now he gets it again inside the blue line. 2-on-1, setting up down low. Might have been better off looking to make that pass across to Gallivan. He had him to his right. Decided he wanted to make a couple of moves and let the shot go. Unable to get that one in on net.
The Bengals have been playing hero too much. They need to find their guy. They need to find their forward, get it to him, and that's why UB has the 6-1 advantage right now.
Hummel getting plenty of a lane to walk in and let that shot go. Bengals need to step up and not let UB players get those types of shots from just inside the top of the circle. That's a little bit too much space. Bengals continuing with the physical play. Cole Newman carrying it out of his own zone, gets it up to Gallivan. Gallivan letting a shot go from distance. Good save as Coons out on the top of his crease, making a good stop there, letting it hit him in the breadbasket. Covers up for a whistle. 8:52 now remaining in the second period. It's going to be an offensive zone draw coming up for the Bengals.
As I was just saying, UB has done such a great job with connecting to their guys. They find their forward, and that team chemistry looks great out there. They're connecting their passes and keeping that offensive zone possession.
It's going to be Sardina on for the draw against Hunter Oliver for UB. Draw is won by the Bengals. Quick shot taken by Gallivan. I don't know if that ended up in on goal or Coons got a piece of it. It ends up coming around the near boards and out into the neutral zone. Cole Newman has to go back into his own zone to start the breakout. Pass goes up the far side, but there's nobody there to accept that pass. That one's going to go for icing against Buff State. 8:37 to go in the period. Face-off coming up in the Buff State defensive zone. And support for our coverage comes from Ivy Lee Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy for over 60 years. Ivy Lee can cover all of your immunization needs, from flu shots to the newest COVID vaccine, also CBD products, home health care, and all your pharmacy needs. Ivy Lee Pharmacy, 2446 Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore. Bengals winning that draw and looking to get that stretch play into the neutral zone. Doesn't quite connect. More physicality, as that doesn't seem to be toned down at all here in period number 2. There have been fewer penalties called, but there's still plenty of hits going on in this game. Bengals with possession. Sardina tried to make a move around one defender, but it's going to be Abbott finding possession and moving it up ice. It kind of floats a pass looking for Everett in the neutral zone. Eventually it is settled down by a UB player, Dylan Felser, maybe with a little bit of a step. Bengals, though, converging on him, making sure he doesn't have an opportunity to let a shot go. Now the puck takes a funny bounce off the far boards. Bengals unable to get it out. Get another opportunity to do so as Cole Newman gets a pass up ice. Right on the tape for Ben Gallivan. Gallivan with a nice move to get around the defenseman there. Just couldn't quite get that pass back to Elliott Hunt as he had a couple men on him. Under 8 minutes to go in the period. Hunter Oliver coming into the offensive zone. Has maybe a little bit of a lane there on the Bengals defenseman. His kind of one-handed shot in on goal. A.J. White with not a very difficult save to make there. And now the Bengals are going to find possession of it, and Sardina's going to have room to skate it up the near side. Sardina in the middle of the ice as he tries to get the zone entry. That might have been offsides there, but no call coming on that play. Should be coming on this play as Elliott Hunt eventually goes in across the blue line too soon before Sardina, so an offsides call with 7:21 to go in the period. Neutral zone faceoff coming up.
Both Buff State and UB have been beating each other up, so I just got to give it to both these teams. These guys, they take these hits and they get right back up. I've seen some brutal hits just this period alone, and they get right up and continue to play.
Crapsey and Dario for this faceoff. UB winning possession. D-to-D pass, and now looking to get it up ice. Another D-to-D pass, but this time it's a Bengal player getting in the way of that one. Eventually, LaCursi did find a man in the neutral zone. Now across the blue line come the Bulls. Daddario here in the corner. banks it off the boards and finds a teammate in behind the net. That's Foresta. Foresta back to the point, but LaCourcie unable to handle that one on the backhand, and it comes all the way back down into UB territory.
And you can't have that 4-on-2. But UB just had a 4-on-2 against the Bengals, and I had no idea where the other 3 guys were.
Looks like we have a penalty coming up here on the play as the referee here has his arm up. This one's going to go against UB. Bengals are trying to take advantage of it in tight as Guerrero with a nice opportunity to let a shot go as we get a little bit more physicality after the whistle here. But it is going to be a holding call made as heading to the penalty box for the UB Bulls is going to be number 8, Brandon LaCourcie.
Yeah, Guerrero just wanted to have a nice little love tap at the end of that play, just making sure, yeah, we see you guys. We know what's going on.
I don't think there is going to be one single let-up in terms of the hitting for the rest of the 6:38 in this period and the 20 minutes of the third period. This is going to just continue to be an intense physical battle throughout this one, and I think that is something that neither team really cares to shy away from, so I'm not surprised to see that being the tone that has been set here in this game.
We may see more hits than shots in this game.
Also, always a possibility.
Yeah. Possibility when it's UB Buff State.
So Buff State's going to get a chance here on the power play as the holding call was made against LaCourcie, so the Bengals going to get a chance here with the man advantage, the first time they've actually had a man advantage despite all the penalties being called in this game. Gallivan here in the mid slot. Has 2 men on him, so he just gets it down low to Guerrero. Guerrero tried to get that one out in front. He had Elliott Hunt there, but a man on him, and the puck ends up coming back into the neutral zone. Ryan Hahn has to go back inside of his own blue line to start it up ice again.
Yeah, it looked like Guerrero was looking for someone on the blue line, but there was no one there. That's why they had to pull it out of the zone.
Hunt here with some speed on his backhand, circles the net, now looks for a passing partner. He gets it to Hahn here at the point. Hahn settling it down and getting it to Gallivan at the near boards. Minute 6 remaining in the Bengals power play as they get things set up here on the perimeter. Cross from Guerrero to Hahn. He lets a shot go. They have a screen in front. Elliott Hunt camped out right in front of Coons, but Coons is able to make the save on that one as he saw that shot through the screen. Then the Bulls getting it clear, sending it in the neutral zone, killing off just a little bit more time on this penalty.
Yeah, we stated this earlier in the game. UB's defensive squad has been playing so well.
Gallivan tries to drive in towards the slot there, made that move in towards the front of the net, and then net ends up coming off the moorings. Again, kind of a little bit not tight to the ice there, as that's the second or third time we've seen Coons push off from his post and have the post come off of its pegs. So 40 seconds now to go in the Bengals power play, and an offensive zone draw coming up here is 5 new skaters out there for the Buff State Bengals.
Even though we haven't had as many issues with officiating, we've seen a lot of puck drops and in the face-off zone. So this period has been moving along compared to the first.
No face-off violations called so far in this period, though.
Not yet.
Still confused about that call in the first. Here's a shot from the point. There was a crowd in front as Cole Newman let that one go. Looked like it just hit a skate and deflected late. Not sure exactly why the linesman was retreating there into the neutral zone so quickly. Either way, the Bengals still keep it moving here in the power plays as Stotz against the near boards. Cross-ice pass. He's got Cole Newman at the left point. Back to Stotz in a one-timer. Just kind of couldn't keep it down as that was a nice-looking setup there. Stotz just a couple inches too much in terms of the elevation of that shot. Just over the crossbar. So 7 seconds now remaining on the Bengals power play as Stanishewski heads back into his own zone to start it up ice. Bengals missing on that pass as Janikowski was trying to get it to Mendick. No icing called on that play, as waved off for some reason, I'm not quite sure. This one is going to be an icing, though. At least it should be.
And
the penalties expired. I don't know why that wouldn't have been, but none of the officials had an arm up, or none of them waved it off, so guess it wasn't something they were even looking for. As this shot comes in from distance, gets deflected late. Looked like it just barely missed the near post. Bulls keeping it in with 4:10 to go in the second period. Swung around behind the net. Now Cole Newman getting it up the near boards where he's got Mendick. Mendick tries to get it up to Jankowski, but a good play as Weingart got in the way of that one. Bulls just send it right back into Buff State territory. Mendick now with a chance to accept a pass here in the neutral zone and just deflected into the offensive zone. Joe Lotempio putting some pressure on the defenseman there. D-Man just slides it back to his partner Hummel. Hummel now another solid hit there as Hummel took that big check there by Caden Mendick. Bengals unable to maintain the blue line there, and they have to tag up before they can head back in and put some pressure on. Gives plenty of room for Weingart to carry it up ice. Kind of trips on his own skate there, but finds possession and dumps it in. That one hits the referee here in the near zone. as kind of floated. I'm not sure how he couldn't get out of the way of that one. That's going to be an offsides, but UB does not touch it up. I thought they actually carried it into the zone offsides, and a little bit more physicality there as Crapsey tried to step into Abbott. Abbott definitely with the size advantage in that matchup, and Crapsey getting the worst of it too.
Yeah, these guys love laying hits on each other and talking a little bit, so let them know. Oh, and here we go. We got big hits left and right.
Yeah, Foresta knocking down Pernetta on that play as the puck comes through the neutral zone, and we have a penalty being called here.
Against?
This one's going against Buff State, it looks like. Nope, it's going against UB. It was a shot on goal. Why'd you blow it dead? The goalie didn't settle it down, so he called the penalty on the hit in the corner.
I guess so. But
all right, a 2-minute penalty against Dylan Foresta for
if they blew it dead
for too effective of a body check.
Yeah,
I didn't even think for a second that would be a penalty.
No, it's tale of two cities out here. Two cities, Buff State and Buffalo, UB.
Yeah, well, the one tale that's consistent is strange calls going in both directions. So Bengals will get a power play. Thought it was going to be the other way around there, but it's a UB penalty and not a Buff State one, but it's UB here in the offensive zone as their captain, Matt Tulo, controlling the puck and killing off time, carries it back into the neutral zone, now back across the blue line, takes a hit from two different Bengals players. Eventually they get him off of that puck. Really effective job there, killing off the first 30 seconds there of the Bengals power play as Matt Tulo controlled it and skated it around the Bengals zone, eventually giving up possession, but doing a good job killing off time in the penalty.
It was a great job. Normally, you'd see him just dump the puck in the zone. No, he saw his opportunity, and he just skated a circle around the Buff State.
And UB doing a good job of forcing a loose puck just inside their own blue line. They get that one cleared the full length of the ice. Now the Bengals with a little bit more trouble. It's a 2-on-0 setting up here. This is Paulie into the offensive zone, makes the pass across. Maybe a little bit too much on it for McCarran to handle. That was a golden opportunity to maybe put this game on ice, but they're unable to even get a shot in on goal as the Bengals really escaped one there.
It's a good look that he's finding his man. He's not being selfish. He's taking that shot. He wants that apple for his teammate.
That was a surefire tap-in goal if that pass connects. So
and
now we get a little bit more physicality. Again, it's McCarran involved. This time it is number 8, Ben Galvin. Two of them just exchanging a little bit of words. Looks like the linesman is concerned about another UB player as these three officials have had their hands full here tonight in what was expected to be a physical game right from the start.
Yeah.
It's been difficult for them to keep track of everything that's been going on, and I'm not sure that there's a whole lot of control in terms of keeping the tempers down here in this one. There's just going to be more of that physicality from start to finish, I'm guessing.
I'd like to think these guys are saying, hey, I think Duff's is better, and then Buff State will go, no, I think Anchor Bar is better, and that's why they're fighting. It's nothing to do with this game.
Another collision there in the offensive zone as is Jankowski going to the ice. Bengals trying to keep it in there along the blue line. Stotz unable to do so there as it comes back through the neutral zone. Now an opportunity down low as this is McCarran looking for a pass out in front. Unable to get it there as two different Bengals players were in front of the net to get in the way of that pass. Jankowski finding it here against the near boards, but he's got two different bulls on him. McCarran forcing that turnover, tries to get it back to the point. Does connect on that one, but Weingart had a man right on him. Just retreats back into the neutral zone, slows things down as the UB penalty expires, and they've effectively killed off that Bengals power play.
Yeah, and Buff State, they got to connect with the puck. They're fanning on their clearing attempts.
You get a lot of passes that are on the tape, but then the pass isn't caught. So it's just kind of a game that has gone in the wrong direction right from the beginning for Buff State. They've had a decent push in this period. They've had the only goal of this period, but it's a long road back here in this one when you're down 6-0 after one. And just chipping away is all they've been able to do here in this period. Here's an opportunity in front of the net. Pass just in the skates of McCarran. A couple of different bodies go down here on the play, and now McCarran engaging with Newman here on the play in the corner as Buff State comes back in the opposite direction. Stotz here under the goal line in the offensive zone. Takes a bump from the UB defenseman. Good play by Paulie to knock him off of that one.
And that's karma for you.
We got a stick broken here. That's McCarran's stick that's broken. I didn't catch what happened there. Was he trying to
come on, man. Slashed one of the Bengals players and his stick broke. So that's karma for you. And he's obviously embarrassed. He's trying to wave off Buff State, but
what penalty is there a penalty being called here? There's a conversation going on with Cole Newman. The Buff State penalty box door is open. It's a UB penalty coming up. They got McCarron. No, it's not. I have no idea what this call is. The penalty box door was open. The referees were having a conversation with the box.
Well, he
now
doesn't
there's
have a
just
stick.
confusion.
Well, looks like he has to get his second. Who knows? A lot of miscommunication right here.
When referees don't know what call to make, it goes to center ice.
Exactly.
Here they are.
Where there should be a penalty, they're dropping it at center ice.
I don't know if they were calling a penalty, calling something else. Why they blowed this play dead? All I know is that there's a face-off at center ice with 2.4 seconds to go in the period. Puck is dropped, and that will bring the period to a close.
You know, I have no words. It's one of those games where you're just a bit confused as to what's going on. There's not a lot of clear communication between these two. The score box is confused. Broadcasting booth is confused, and we're most likely going to see the officials get some water and go hide out in the locker room.
Yeah. Referees having one last conversation here at center ice as they discuss what they've seen in the period. Both teams retreating back to their locker rooms.
I wouldn't say retreating yet. There's a lot of banter between the two, a lot of pointing at the scoreboard, and a lot of teammates holding each other back from who knows.
The good news is this is the last time that these two teams meet in the regular season. And maybe they'll see each other again in the playoffs, but this is probably a good thing that only one more period of play on the schedule, as there is a lot of bad blood that's been built up on the ice. Probably has something to do with the fact that the referees haven't had a real good control of this game throughout.
No.
It's been an affair is probably the best way to put it, but it's been still entertaining as we've had a much more normal second period of play after a very strange first period. 6-1 is our score after 2 periods of play. UB with the lead. And our coverage being brought to you by Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. To buy, sell, or lease any office, industrial, retail, or investment property, trust the unparalleled knowledge and experience of Militello Realty. Supporters also include Ivy Lee Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy for over 60 years. Ivy Lee can cover your immunization needs from flu shots to the newest COVID-19 vaccine. Also CBD products, home health care, and other pharmacy needs. Ivy Lee Pharmacy, 2446 Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore, or ivyleepharmacy.com. Our coverage also brought to you by Pool Mart, your family fun store. Whether you're looking for a pool, hot tub, patio furniture, supplies, or more, Pool Mart has 5 locations in Western New York and Northern Pennsylvania to meet your specific need. You can find them online, poolmartonline.com. This broadcast also brought to you by Colvin Cleaners. Dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and all garment services. Colvin Cleaners, the region's premier green earth dry cleaner. It's also where the Buffalo State Club hockey team goes to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. ColvinCleaners.com or visit them on Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore. Supporters also include Envious Gameware, the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club hockey. Online, enviousgameware.com. And supporters include 412 Communications, the new gold standard for digital media solutions for small businesses. 412 Communications offers consultation for web and graphic design, social media, writing and editing services, multimedia solutions, and more. Visit 412communications.com to learn how they can help your brand build bridges with the people you serve. You're watching the Nickel City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for amateur hockey. We're going to step away here for the second intermission. We'll be back in about 10 minutes for the third.
Bridges have connected people for centuries. When it comes to helping small businesses build bridges with the people they serve, there's a new gold standard. 412 Communications offers a uniquely comprehensive array of media solutions to help your brand establish and maintain strong, lasting connections with your clientele.
To play your best, attitude and mindset are key. The saying, look good, feel good, play good, simply didn't come along by accident, and it's what Envious Gameware does with every team for which they design jerseys. Envious Gameware designs high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and they're the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. Find them online, enviousgameware.com.
And welcome back to the Northtown Center at Amherst as we are about ready for third period action. It is the Buffalo State Bengals and the UB Bulls. After 2 periods of play, it is a convincing lead in favor of the University of Buffalo. 6-1 is the score in favor of UB. All of their scoring coming in period number 1. 5 of those goals coming on the power play. Bengals got the only goal in the second period, Ben Gallivan getting Buff State on the board, and that's how we have our 6-1 score after 40 minutes. Ready for third period action as both teams have come back out into the ice, and we're ready to get started here in the final stanza. Hello, I'm Aaron Elpern alongside John Dwyer for the call of tonight's game on the Nickel City Hockey Network. And John, it's been an interesting one. I don't really think there's any other way to phrase it.
I think the Bengals need to handle this adversity, and this is a challenge for them. This third period, if they can muster up some goals right here and gain even more momentum that they had previously in the second period. They had it for a little bit, and then it was 50-50 UB Bengals. There was just a lot of hits between the two. So if the Bengals can hold that momentum from that first goal last period and contribute a little more, maybe we'll have a better game with some less stoppage of time.
Yeah, this is the second time in a week that these two schools have met. They played last week at the Buffalo State Ice Arena, UB winning that one by a 5-1 score, but it was a much more depleted Buff State roster for that game. A lot of regular players out of the lineup. Most of them are back here tonight. However, the story of this one has more been the manpower disadvantage that's been seen on the ice with some of the penalties that were doled out in the first period. A confusing stretch of time there with some of the calls that were made, but the calls are what the calls are, and you have to kind of keep playing afterwards despite what happens. And as we keep on saying, UB, they took advantage of the opportunities they had, capitalizing on those power plays, and that's why they have a 5-goal lead here in this one. Bengals are going to need a response early in this period if they expect to come back here in this one. This is one of the players that might be able to help them do so. Ben Gallivan, he's got the Bengals goal already tonight. Good defense on him, though, as the Bulls were clearly ready to mark number 8 here in this third period. Lotempio moves it up ice, finds Elliott Hunt there, takes a high hit from Abbott. Now the two of them exchanging words here in the neutral zone. Hunt with the puck on his stick again, tries to get that one to Gallivan, but a good play as Hunter Oliver got into that passing lane, and now he might have an opportunity of his own. Gets around the defenseman and gets a point-blank shot off. A.J. White making the stop, his first test here of the third period. He's already been under a lot of pressure already in this game with all the power plays that UB had in the first period. So Good to see him sticking with it and playing some solid hockey here in period number 3. Puck comes into the neutral zone where it's picked up by Ryan Dene, and he dumps it back into the Bulls zone as we were a little bit more than a minute into the third period. Bulls trying to execute a breakout pass there, but Ben Gallivan gets in the way and sends it deep into the offensive zone yet again. This time that breakout again doesn't work up that far side. Gallivan getting in the way of that pass. It does come out into the neutral zone, but the Bengals send it right back in. Now look to set up some pressure here with Gosen on the forecheck.
Yeah, Dene doing a great job keeping that puck in the offensive zone for the Bengals.
Felser has control of it here along his own goal line, banks it off the backboards and finds a teammate. Now moving it up ice is Hummel. Just a little bit too far for its intended target, and then a pass from the Bengals ends up just a little bit too far for its intended target. And now an opportunity for UB to start their breakout up ice. As settling it down in behind his net is Weingart. Weingart with a long pass through the neutral zone eventually gets to Foresta. Now a 3-on-2 is setting up here. Foresta just takes that shot from distance. I think that caught some crossbar there and then goes up into the protective netting. Nice shot to get it over the shoulder of A.J. White, but not under the bar. So this one will be a face-off coming up in the Bengals zone.
Yeah, I thought that was off his dome. I thought that hit his face mask, but
I couldn't tell. It's a little bit tough from our perspective here, looking through the double glass here, maybe a little bit of a warped perspective. But clearly it was a shot that that had a lot on it. It was upstairs, and Bengals a little bit fortunate that it was, again, not a opportunity against them. This time, though, it looks like they're going to get the benefactor. They're going to be the benefactors of a call going in their favor. Yeah. The makeup call opportunity that we talked about there in the second period.
Yeah, it looks
finally
like
the referees have found a way to try to even things up a little bit here.
Tripping penalty, I think.
And we have multiple players heading over to the penalty box. I don't think Abbott's the one that took the penalty, but he's having a conversation with one of the players that's manning the box. Eventually, the penalized player heads over there, and this one is it's now going to be number 26, Ben Weingart, as he gets a 2-minute tripping call. So just a little bit more than 2 minutes into third period play, the Bengals get the first opportunity on the power play, get an opportunity to let a shot go there. It's right off the draw. It came to Elliott Hunt. His shot got deflected up and out of play, however, and we'll get another offensive zone draw coming up in that far circle.
I believe that head coach Tim Turner is going to want a little more than a tripping call to make up for that, whatever that was in the first period.
Yeah, I'm not sure there is any real makeup call for the way that this game ended up being flipped out of balance so early. It was just a strange sequence of events. That's really the only way to describe it, as UB does a good job here to find possession in their own zone, get that puck cleared the length of the ice. Ben Gallivan going back to get it in the far corner. Pass up to Guerrera in his skates, and that allows UB to find possession. Dubinsky carrying it back across the blue line as the physicality just continues here in this one. Bengals then connect on a pass here. Now Gallivan with an opportunity to skate it up the left side. Gallivan into the offensive zone, drops a pass back for Guerrera. Guerrera, though, not looking for that one. Actually, it went past both him and a UB player, and then all the way back down to A.J. White.
Yeah, Buff State and UB, we got the trenches, and the neutral zone is no man's land. You get caught not looking there, you're going down.
Guerrera carries the puck into the offensive zone, but Hummel on him quickly and then lays his shoulder into him in the corner. Hunt finds that loose puck, however, now looking for a pass as he retreats back towards the point. Pass to Hahn. He tries to get that shot in through traffic, misses the net wide. Bengals, though, finding a loose puck here on the near wall, but a good play by Velopek to get that one up ice. Now, this is a 2-on-1 developing. Velopek's got a man in front of the net, gets it to him in front, and Pewarski with an opportunity. Just a little bit tough for him to get that one turned around and get the right angle on that shot, just barely missing the net wide. Good opportunity there, shorthanded from UB.
I think I said this in the first period, possibly the second. It's that odd man rush that UB keeps getting against the Bengals. They need to find that lone guy and cover him.
There's another opportunity here, shorthanded. Pewarski's had 2 chances here down a man, and doing a very good job of not only effectively killing off some time in the Bulls penalty, but creating some opportunities for his team.
I completely forgot that the Bengals were on the power play. It's the way that they've been playing. You don't know.
Pewarski with some more good work there in the penalty kill, creating a loose puck. Going to get a chance to get it out of the zone here as the last couple seconds tick away the penalty. Shot is taken there by Cole Newman. Good job getting in the way of that one by Hummel. This one now sent back into Buff State territory, and they will get the icing call on that one.
I didn't know since penalty was just over. I thought he'd let it go, but
I wasn't sure if he was ready to make that call. There was a touch of a delay, but he eventually did make the icing call, as we are clearly on guard for any questionable-looking calls. Or we're definitely watching the team in black and white closely in this one. I think we could say that.
face off in the UB defensive zone.
The blocker hand side of Craig Coons, who's been pretty solid here throughout. The Bengals haven't given him too much of a test so far, but a couple of times that he has been asked to make big saves, he has done so, and a big part of why it's a comfortable 5-goal lead here in the third.
Yeah, seeing how it's his first start of the season, I was figuring he would be a little on his toes. That beginner's nerves, not beginners, but first season nerves.
Yeah, and I think you haven't really seen that. He's been settled into this game despite the fact they didn't face a lot of shots early on. Now an opportunity in front of the net, and taking advantage of this one is Matt Cohen for the Bulls. Puts that one home on the chance right in front of the net. It's now a 7-1 game as UB continues to stretch their lead here in this one. They didn't score at all during the second period, but they made up for it already here in the third, and now extended their lead to a 6-goal margin.
Yeah, that was a great give and go by UB. Coming up through the neutral zone, going towards the crease, passing it to your forward. You're gonna succeed on that one every single time.
Might be exactly what dashes the hopes of the Buff State Bengals of coming back in this one. They were kind of inching their way back by getting that second period goal, and had created some opportunities after that tally. But that 7th goal by UB, that one might be what's needed to officially, break the backs of the opponents and really make it that much more of a daunting challenge to try to chip their way back here in this one. O'Shea into the offensive zone for UB, drops a pass off to McCarron, and then McCarron gets drilled into the corner by Ryan Hahn. UB, though, maintaining possession. It comes back to McCarron after he gets back to his skates. Drops a pass down in the corner, now has the pass back on his stick again. It was just on his backhand side. I think he was maybe looking for it on the forehand. Weingart tries to keep it in there. It looked like it came out into the neutral zone. The referee is going to be calling a penalty behind the play, as it looks like it's another Buff State penalty being called here, as the referee signaling the call, pointing out the player that he believes is guilty of an infraction. It looks like it's going to be Mike Jankowski heading to the penalty box, as the referee having a conversation with Jankowski here to explain what the call was.
Yeah, both teams, they're...
It's a roughing call.
Okay.
I didn't see what happened there on that play, so unable to really give you a whole lot of insight about what that call was or what had happened. It might have been like some sort of play in front of the net.
I just think at this point, Buff State, they got to play with pride, lock it down defensively. If you see that offensive man rush opening, you go for it, but play defensively. Don't let them score another goal. That's your mission for this third period.
Got to kill off another penalty here as the Bulls head to the power play yet again. It's been a good game for the Bulls to improve their percentages on the power play, as they could probably go 0 for the next 7 or 8 games and still have a 30+% power play ratio, because they were so good on it in the first period here of this game. 5 goals scored in period number 1 by the UB Bulls, all on the power play.
I've lost track of how many they've had.
Yeah, it was 6 goals in the first 5 on the power play.
Okay.
It was the first one was an even strength goal, and then it was just a pile of goals with the man advantage, including a 5-on-3 at one point.
Yeah, the double minor, all that.
Yep. Oliver setting up the power play, gets a pass to Felser. Now back to the point to Weingart. His slap shot hits a stick on its way through and then ends up in the near corner. Foresta finding possession of it and keeping the UB power play moving. Weingart now lets a wrist shot go from his point position. A.J. White tracks that one nicely, holds on for a whistle. 13:22 to go in the period, 1:06 remaining in the UB power play.
And it looks like there might be a goalie change for UB.
Maybe.
Am I wrong?
No, still Coons in net.
Oh, okay.
So it's a face-off to the glove hand side of A.J. White. And an opportunity for UB to have a shot right in on goal off that draw. Andrew Daddario let a backhand go. A.J. White making the save. Now Abbott keeps it in here at the near point. Feeds it down low, finding a teammate along the goal line. McCarron tried to get that one in front, just couldn't find Tulo on the far post. Now Tulo in a battle with Joe Lotempio for the loose puck. Eventually Tulo gets control of it. Now he's got Stanishewski on him. Lotempio over there to help as well, as the Bengals are doing a decent job killing off this penalty. They do a good job of getting it out of the zone there. Stoats making sure it gets through the neutral zone. Now Abbott has it inside of his own zone to start the UB breakout. Up ice to Tulo, and Tulo has some space to carry it in. Takes a hard wrist shot from just inside the top of the circle. Good save there by A.J. White. Covers it up with the arm, pinning it to his side, and now 26 seconds remain in the Jankowski penalty.
I just don't think there's a lot of communication between the Bengals. We see one guy moving up the ice, and you see 4 of them back. They might be ready to make a change. One of them wants to make one more push, but they just got to talk to each other if they're going to do that offensive man rush.
20 seconds remaining of a penalty to kill off here for the Bengals as Abbott carries it in from his point position for UB. Behind the net now and settled down. Opportunity to keep that power play set up. Dubinsky gets it out to the point to Daddario. Daddario cross-ice pass where he finds Pauly, but Lotempio right on him. Tries to create a loose puck. Has a couple of teammates on to help him out. Eventually it is cleared out of the zone by Ryan Hahn, but it ends up in the Buff State bench just as the penalty to Jankowski expires. So now 12:15 remains here in third period play. It's a 7-1 lead for the UB Bulls, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey.
Yeah, the Bengals, they just got to pick their heads up right now. We see a lot of slow play. They got to play with pride. Like I said, finish this game strong, be proud of something. Be proud of this third period and lock it down.
Bengals getting possession right off the draw. Gosen carrying it through the neutral zone. Gets it to Guerrera, but a good poke check to get him off of that puck, as it was Brian Hummel making the play there on the defensive end. Puck back in the Bengals zone now, as it is Ryan Dene trying to get it away from O'Shea on that play. Eventually does get it past him and into the neutral zone, but UB finding the puck and then sending it right back into Buff State territory.
Ooh.
That pass hits a body as Cole Newman was looking for that long home run pass. Now he's got to retreat and play some defense in front of his own net. As this is O'Shea trying to pivot and move towards the net, but a beneficial move then for Buff State as they almost had a chance to get it up ice with some numbers. Gosen just couldn't settle it down along the blue line. Gosen now battling for a loose puck there on the far boards. His two line mates join the fray as well, but the puck comes out to a UB player. This is Brian O'Shea with the chance to carry it through the neutral zone. Basically 1-on-4 into the offensive zone as he tries to step around the Buff State defenseman. And then attempted a long float pass through the neutral zone. Just had a little bit too much loft on it. Hits the rafters here of the feature rink at the Northtown Center. So we get a stoppage in play for that occurrence. And 11:19 now remaining in the third period. Faceoff's going to be coming up inside Buffalo State territory.
I'm waiting to see that one last scrap between these two teams. They're going to look at the clock, see there's 11:19 to go, and they got some tension they want to relieve. I know it.
Certainly something that you can see the frustration maybe building up from the Buff State perspective. Mm-hmm. Not something they can afford to do to get any of their players involved in any sort of extracurricular stuff. There's maybe a little bit that could have developed there as McCarron laid a hit on Ryan Hahn as the referees blow the play dead on an offsides infraction. McCarron wants to continue the conversation as he's been fond of so far tonight. He's kind of had his nose in a lot of this tonight, including that melee in the first period.
Well, there's one thing I know about this game, and that the refs do not have control of it.
No, and that's why these last 11 minutes are going to be interesting to watch, because we could get more of those extracurricular things occurring after the whistle.
Yeah.
And so the referees are going to have to be on guard for that happening. Bengals might get a 2-on-1 here. Elliott Hunt in the offensive zone takes the shot, just misses high as he was looking to go up high on the glove hand.
They got to learn from past periods. They got to find their guy. The past 2-on-1 shots for the Bengals, they've been shooting from the first response guy. You need to find that assist.
Yeah, that was the second time that Gallivan was wide open on a 2-on-1, and his teammate decided he wanted to take the shot himself. And ends up being an opportunity. That one missed the net. I think the previous one did in the second period as well. We have a whistle being blown here, blowing the play dead. It looks like we're going to have matching penalties called, as again, McCarron and Hahn, the referees had a chance to get a hold of this a minute ago. They didn't make a call, and now it continues after the whistle here. The referees are maybe going to actually do something to try to settle this down, and it looks like McCarron's being excused. This would be a game misconduct, too, because there's 10:25 remaining in the third period.
The ref is following McCarron. I don't know what's going to follow up with this.
This can't be a 10-minute misconduct because he wouldn't be tossed off the ice. That's going to be a game. I'm wondering if there's going to be anything more to that, whether or not there's going to be anything that could involve future games on that one.
It looks like Captain Joe Lotempio is just looking at the ref, just wondering what is going on. There seems to be no communication between the officials and the players. The officials want to talk to each other. They figure it out, but there's little to no communications with the score box and the teams.
Again, we're trying to sort out a penalty here, and we have the conference of the two referees. The linesman might be able to offer some assistance here, but he's off in the Bulls zone ready for a face-off.
And looks like we have someone going to the penalty. The way this game is played, I think the officials are Patriots fans or Ravens fans, as the Bills play the Ravens tomorrow. But what is going on here?
There's been a lot going on in the officiating world in the last couple of years. We saw last year there was kind of a shortage of officials, and it was difficulty getting full referee crews. So we try to have a little bit more understanding about what it takes to go into refereeing a hockey game, but this has been poor from start to finish. There's no other way to say it.
You could fill the world's tallest filing cabinet with the amount of bad calls these guys have made today.
It's not just that they've been questionable calls. There's been no decisiveness in the calls. You had one official ready to throw a guy out there, and then there's like a hemming and hawing about what the actual call is.
Most of the time they make a bad call, they stick to it. They don't care. They don't.
So a UB player got kicked out of the game, but it's 5-on-5.
Confusion.
So it was announced as a 10-minute game misconduct. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to end up resulting in the future, but okay, it's 4-on-4 here is what we're playing. I'm puzzled by that, but anyways, Bengals with possession in the offensive zone. Stoats trying to find Jolo Tempio across the front of the net. Now Cole Newman battling for a loose puck just inside of the blue line. Eventually gets it deep into the offensive zone. But the Bulls then move it up ice. Nice little bit of physical contact there as Dene threw the shoulder into Matt Tula.
Dene's got a small body, but on the ice he makes it big. He hits people hard.
Got that low center of gravity. He doesn't mind throwing that shoulder into people.
No.
Takes a little bit of a hit there. Almost maintains his balance to keep possession of it, though UB finds it, though. And now Tulo's got some room and some speed through the neutral zone. Tulo across the blue line, loses control of it and fans on the shot. And now Dene's going to come back in the opposite direction. Up to Gallivan. Gallivan across the blue line. Dene joining him on this 2-on-2 rush, but good defense there from UB. All four players back inside their own blue line, making sure they were defending their own end there.
There's some sloppy changing with the Bengals. There was 2 men in the offensive zone, 1 man coming off the bench, and
sloppy
1 man on the blue line.
Defensive zone coverage there as there were 2 men wide open in front. A.J. White saving his defenseman's bacon there, making a great pad save to keep this one a 7-1 game. Bulls, though, keep it moving in the offensive zone. Pewarski looking for a wraparound attempt. A.J. White with a good read to get that pad across to make the save on that one. Now it's Gallivan 1-on-3 through the neutral zone.
Once again, little to no communication with the Bengals. They're trying to make a change. If you have that communication with the change, you got new guys with fresh legs can shoot up the offensive zone.
Almost too many men on the ice there for the Bengals. There's a little bit confusion on that change. Actually, I think they did have 5 out there for a moment.
Yeah.
Referees did not see that, however, and no call is made, but there is an icing call made in the aftermath. So a face-off will be coming up in the UB zone. 8 minutes, 23 seconds to go here in regulation. It's a 7-1 lead for the UB Bulls. And Buffalo State Club Hockey is brought to you by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy in Kenmore for over 60 years, as well as by Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. Bengals putting some pressure on here in the offensive zone. Ryan Hahn trying to get the puck off of his counterpart there in the defensive end, but LaCourcy doing a good job to find that loose puck and get it out of the zone. Pewarski then lays a shoulder into Mark Hager, and that allows UB to find possession and move it up ice. Pass is too far for its intended target. Another pass misses the mark, and now Hummel's got a chance to carry it up ice. Hummel, though, tries to step around Ryan Hahn, and Hahn just lays the shoulder into him. As we predicted, the physicality and the hitting was not going to stop even for one moment here in this game.
That shoulder was a Peterbilt out in the neutral zone.
I felt that up here. Puck just inside the UB blue line. This is Weingart with an opportunity to carry it up ice. Gains the red line, then just floats it into the offensive zone. Pewarski's the first one to it there on the far side. Takes a little hit there from Cole Newman, but puck ends up coming behind the net, and now Ryan Hahn has an opportunity to break it out up ice. Headman pass to Newman. Newman then to the blue line where he finds Elliott Hunt. Hunt on the right wing, lets a shot go from distance. Again, a little bit too much elevation on that one. It goes high and wide. Gosson doing a good job of tracking it down and keeping it in here on the near side. Gosson now with a chance in front of the net, but 4 different UB players all converge on him, keeping him from getting that shot away. Pernetta then came in from his point position. His shot goes high and wide as well.
A little high off that. I was confused. I didn't know where the other 2 defensive men were. They were out at center ice while the 3 offensive players were just on their own. It was a 5-on-3.
Elliott Hunt now back inside of his own zone, looking to start it up ice here for the Bengals. He has a UB player on him in close proximity, finally gets away from him, but then he fans on a pass. Stanishewski now picks it up for the Bengals. A little bit of a dangerous pass right in front of his crease, a little bit of miscommunication with Pernetta. Eventually, the Bengals do get the zone cleared, and now it's Gosson battling with Bass for a loose puck right in between the 2 benches. Bass wins that one-on-one battle and now retreats back into his own zone to start the breakout with 6:45 remaining. Up ice to Foresta, but a good defensive play there by Stanishewski to knock him off of that puck, and the puck is now back inside the UB zone. Bass getting that one up ice where he finds a teammate, Dubinsky, now into the neutral zone, and Daddario lays a hit on Stanishewski as Sardina tries to get it into the offensive zone, but good defense again. The UB Bulls defenders have done a good job of stepping up along the blue line, and now it creates a chance in the offensive zone, and a quick pass in front right onto the tape of Alec Dubinsky. One-touch shot through the 5-hole of A.J. White, and it's now an 8-1 lead in favor of the University of Buffalo. And we said that 7th goal earlier on in this period was probably the backbreaker, and I think that since then you've seen the whatever wind was left in the sails of the Buff State Bengals come out of it. Yeah. And now you're starting to see some of the results of that. UB taking advantage. They had a lot of time and space in front of the Bengals net yet again, and managed to make it pay off. They get the goal from Dubinsky to make it an 8-1 hockey game.
I felt my eyes light up when I saw that. That was a perfect give and go straight through the 5-hole. And, A.J. White's been playing a hell of a game, but he needs some help with the defensive support.
Just been asked to make too many difficult saves, and that's never a good positive recipe.
No.
And UB has done a better job of creating opportunities in the offensive zone.
Yeah.
And we've talked about all the different UB power plays here in this game. They did score 5 goals in the power play, but they have 3 even-strength goals as well, so even at even strength, it's still a 3-1 advantage in favor of UB. And you can say what you want about the officiating. It's everything that's gone on there, aside from that, has still been in the Bulls' favor.
Whether you want to say whatever about this game, it's about who's connecting with each other, and that's clearly been UB. They've been working well as a team, passing and connecting, and whenever the Bengals get momentum in the offensive zone, they can't seem to find each other's tape.
Seems to be what the hallmark of the early part of the season is so far for the Buff State Bengals. A little bit more physicality there. Caden Mendick laying a hit on his man and now having a conversation with Paulie about it afterwards. Rather have him get back and play some defense on the plays. It's a 3-on-2 setting up here for UB. They get another point-blank opportunity. Save was made there by A.J. White as some of his teammates might seem to be more interested in the conversation with their opponents as opposed to defending their own net. Now you have a dirty hit here from number 17. That's Brian O'Shea with the hit from behind on Luke Stotz right in front of our broadcast position. And now we have just a continued bit of physicality here as we have Cole Newman and Abbott engaging with each other. So there's a couple of different UB players heading to the penalty box first off, and now it's going to be another long discussion here with the officials as to what they're going to be calling here.
Yep.
This is what happens when you let a game get out of control, and you have multiple things on the ice going on at once that need referee attention, and they just can't keep their focus on it enough because there's too much happening.
It looks like Jason Abbott is leaving the box now because they have no clue what's going on. There's no communication.
Yeah, Josh Abbott, I think, has been kicked out.
I don't know.
I mean, it was a dangerous hit from behind that could easily be called a 2, a 10, a game misconduct, anything you want to along those lines.
Abbott is trying to go to the box, and he's being waved away.
The referee's telling him to get in the penalty box. The scorers are telling him to get off the ice.
There's no backbone.
There's no communication, and there's no stand-up for any of these calls. You make the call, follow it up by continuing with the call. Don't back off of it.
That's one thing about Joe West in the MLB. He makes some terrible calls, but he'll just stay with it.
So it's a pair of 2-minute penalties to UB.
Oh, boy.
I thought there could have been a call against a Buff State player in there as well. It's just...
Maybe this is the makeup call.
The makeup call when it's an 8-1 game.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like the UB coaching staff is disagreeing with whatever's going on.
I'm sure they've been just as upset with some of the calls here in this game and just as confused as we have been as the Buff State side, because it's been not like it's been all in one direction.
And at this
point, there have been
point,
strange calls in both
there's
directions.
Just under 5 minutes to go, and if you're talking about the penalty calls you're getting, you're up 8-1. Come on.
Well, it's a 2-man advantage, though, for Buff State here as they maybe have one last gasp here to get back into this one.
Yeah.
Sardina with the puck just inside the top of the circle. Has some room to let a shot go. It hits the pad of the goaltender and goes off into the corner. Carrera now finding control of it. Gets it across to Sardina. His shot in on goal. A rebound opportunity. Coons making 2 saves on that play as Elliott Hunt gets knocked down and behind the net, but the Bengals still find possession.
these guys got to set each other up.
On across to Guerrera. Guerrera lets that one go, but a good block there as it was LaCourcy getting in the way of that shot. He's certainly feeling the effects of it. Slow to get back to his feet as he sacrificed the body to make the block. LaCourcy still slowly getting to the bench, now finally getting there as the third UB player rejoins the play. Bengals now setting up the power play here. 5-on-3 for another minute 4. Ryan Hahn, midpoint, lets that shot go. Hits a UB body in front of the net. Looked like that was Brian Hummel that got in the way of that one. Ends up in the protective netting behind the netminder Coons. So it will force a stoppage in play and an offensive zone draw here from the Bengals. 1 minute remaining exactly in the 5-on-3.
And when it's 5-on-3, I'd like to see the passing not happen by the blue line. You got 5-on-3. You got that two-man advantage. Play closer to the goal. You can get that dirty goal. We don't want anything pretty right now.
Cross ice pass. Ryan Hahn lets a shot go. Good read there as getting across to it. Making the save was Coons. Sardina now with the backhand wraparound attempt. Coons making another stop on that one. It comes out to the point where Ryan Hahn tries to get a shot going. And now an opportunity for a rebound chance, but another good save there by Coons as Sardina was right on the doorstep. 32 seconds remaining in the Bengals 5-on-3. Sardina lets a shot go from just inside the top of the circle. That hits a body on its way through. UB's doing a good job of blocking shots here on this penalty kill. Coons making the save here on that one. Got the right blocker on that one.
Playing out of his mind right now.
Makes another save as it was Sardina letting loose at the slap shot there.
There we go.
And now we're going to get another call going against UB. As it's Weingart heading to the penalty box.
Let's rip up that cushion from Buff State's penalty box and put it in UB's. We got 3 guys. We got a party in there. Let's get some chips and guac in there. It's chaos.
So Weingart takes the cross-checking penalty with 3:10 remaining in period number 3. There were 13 seconds remaining in the original UB penalties. So one of those is going to be released here in 13 seconds. The second one won't be released until there's a whistle.
Yeah.
So the second player is going to come out after the whistle. The first one, this is another spot where the referees should have been having a conversation to determine who comes out first.
Yeah.
Here they come. But they're telling the guy that just got the penalty.
Yeah.
.310 remaining here in regulation. Our broadcast is brought to you by Colvin Cleaners. Dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and all garment services. Colvin Cleaners is the region's premier green earth dry cleaner. It's also where the Buffalo State Club hockey team goes to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. Visit them on Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore or go online, colvincleaners.com. Finally ready to get going here with the Bengals continuing on the power play. Ryan Hahn getting a shot in on goal. There was a rebound there briefly. Good job by Coons to get that one out of the near proximity and get that one up towards the blue line. UB eventually getting it across the blue line as Abbott comes out, and now Daddario is going to have a breakaway shorthanded. Fires it the short side, inside the blocker side arm, just inside the post, and the shorthanded goal by Daddario has made this one a 9-1 lead for UB.
Speechless. That's all I really have to say at this point.
That was the sequence of events with the puck coming out into the neutral zone, the penalty being released, the player joining the fray as the loose puck was right in front of the UB penalty box. The resulting play, the puck kind of hits a couple of skates and goes in the opposite direction towards the Buff State cage, and it's Daddario behind the defenseman with basically about 100 feet of ice to work with to decide what he wants to do on the breakaway. Makes a decision to just shoot it low blocker side. Perfectly picked his spot right inside the post.
Nothing against A.J. White at this point. It's pretty much a shootout attempt, and it's 50-50. He either saves it or he doesn't. So he got him right side, leg, and he's just got to keep his head up. He's got a game coming up soon, and just perform in that one. Yeah,
Bengals are certainly going to need A.J. White to just flush this one down the toilet and get ready for the next game. Bengals will be on the road next Friday at Binghamton, the national runners-up. Binghamton beating Niagara today by a 6-4 count. So Binghamton already picking up where they left off last season. It's going to be a stern test next Friday for the Bengals. and they're certainly going to need A.J. White to be at the top of his game like he was when Buff State beat Binghamton in the UNYCHL playoffs last year.
Yeah, the Nickel City Hockey Network will be covering that game, Niagara versus Georgia, tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the Dwyer Ice Arena.
That's right. As not only we have that game tomorrow, but that Buff State-Binghamton game next Friday.
Yep.
Part of our full broadcast schedule here this year on the Nickel City Hockey Network. Certainly appreciate you joining us for tonight's game. Please be sure to join us tomorrow afternoon. It is a 2 p.m. start from Dwyer Arena at Niagara and Georgia. An opportunity to have the full multimedia experience. You can watch the Bills game and watch Niagara, Georgia from Dwyer in what should be a great CHF matchup.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Absolutely. Minute 58 now remaining here in this game. UB still killing off a penalty here. 56 seconds remaining in the penalty to Weingart as the Bulls get the clearance and send it all the way back down into Buff State territory. And now it's Stotz picking up a pass here in the neutral zone, but he had a man quickly on him. Gets it back to Cole Newman where he has to go outside of his own zone to get that puck up ice. Eventually a couple of passes connect, and now Stotz in across the blue line. Has a defender charging in towards him, loses control of it. Is a good play there by Oliver to create that loose puck and make sure that one gets all the way out of the zone and back into Buffalo State territory. 24 seconds remaining on the Bengals power play as Crapsey carries it across the blue line. Crapsey cuts wide and then lets a shot go, hits the right shoulder of the goaltender Coons. Nice solid save yet again as the Bulls get another clear. Bengals unable to get that zone time set up here with the last 8 seconds remaining of their power play.
Roughly a minute to go in the third period, in the final period of the game.
Stotz carries it into the offensive zone, trying for one last opportunity. Mendick with a good chance there as it ended up right on his stick after Hager got a touch on it. Good save, though, as Coons read that play coming across his crease. Got in position nicely and made the stop. And not only that, didn't allow a second opportunity for the Bengals. So now at least one more draw coming up in the offensive zone for Buff State. This one's going to be to the left of Craig Coons. And it's going to be Alex Gosen winning it for Buff State. Wins it back to Mendick, but his shot hits a stick and goes up over top of the net as we now have 46 seconds remaining in regulation. Stanishewski just dumping it into the offensive zone. It didn't hit the ceiling. It was up high. I don't know why they blew that play dead.
They might have gotten tired in the 10 seconds that the puck
I thought it was going to hit the ceiling.
I did too,
it didn't hit anything, but they blew the play dead nonetheless. They wanted to get at least one more whistle and puck drop here in before the end of regulation.
Yeah, they love blowing that whistle.
They've been good at it tonight. O'Shea with a great move there to get himself behind the defense. Couldn't quite get the shot away. There was a second opportunity as it was coming in late on the play was Oliver, and now we have a penalty being taken here. One more call. Referees had to get one more on the score sheet before we got done here. Stanishewski's shot right in on goal. Save is made by Coons. And now UB eventually will get they don't get the touch on the puck, as now Bengals are going to get an opportunity for that sixth skater out there. Shot comes in from Dene, deflected wide, and now Dene has it back at the right point. Cross-ice pass, Stanishewski letting a shot go through a crowd. Good job by Coons to keep track of that one and make that save, but the horn's going to go before we get this penalty call. And the final score of this one, it's a resounding 9-1 win for the UB Bulls.
Now, earlier in this game I said there might be more hits than shots in this game. I think we had more penalty calls than shots in this game.
There was a lot going on in terms of what the scorekeepers had to keep track of. This was not the game to be a healthy scratch from the UB Bulls. You would much rather have been on the ice than having to try to figure out exactly what all of these calls were, but we appreciate the work of Hector Vargas and others who were keeping track and making sure they kept us as well informed of what the penalties were throughout this game. And it's going to be a final score of 9-1 in favor of the University at Buffalo. They start off their season with a perfect 3-0 mark.
Oh, we got a scrum over in the line. Oh, come on, guys. Game's over. I understand it was a rough game, but there's no room for that. You're shaking hands. It's that olive branch. No. Clock's hit 0. Come on.
Didn't quite see what developed here, but it's Michael Guerrero that's being escorted off the ice from Buff State as he was involved in something going on with the UB player. Obviously don't want to see something like that happening here in this game. It's not a good way for this one to end, as it was kind of a sour note from start to finish from the Buff State perspective. But they have no choice but to get it out of their system and get ready for another tough weekend next week. They have Binghamton and Niagara on the schedule. two of the teams that figured to be near the top of things in the UNYCHL this year. So the task doesn't get any shorter next week for the Buff State team. UB, though, they're now 3-0 this season, as we were trying to say before that little scrap developed in the handshake line. The win last week, 5-1 over Buff State. This win, 9-1 over Buff State. And then the win last night against Penn State Barron College, 15-5. So a great start for the UB Bulls as they look to bounce back from what was a little bit of a down year last year. They were the UNYCHL champions in 2019-2020. Last year didn't go quite their way, but they seem to have settled things down and are back into more of their form that they were a couple of years ago, and maybe making a couple of statement wins here in the early going, putting that notice out to the UNYCHL that last year's UB team, that was a one-off, and this team should not be underestimated this year.
Yeah, it looks like Captain Joe Lotempio is speaking to the officials right now. I'd like to be in his boots. I'd ask, what happened in the first period? Why was I off the ice? I'm just confused.
There's a lot to be confused at, and there's another conversation going on in the Buff State zone. Assistant coach Jeff Shevchek trying to get an explanation for some of the calls. It was an interesting game when it comes to the officiating of it. When it comes to the play on the ice, it was a resounding victory for the UB Bulls. Obviously, they benefited from their power plays, the man advantages in the first period. But they had 4 even-strength goals besides the 5 power play goals in the first. So an all-around resounding victory here for the UB Bulls, and they move to 3-0 on the season.
You know, it's always strange to see the refs, the officials, being the last to leave the ice. You know, says something about the game.
Support for Buffalo State College Club Hockey comes from Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. To buy, sell, or lease any office, industrial, retail, or investment property, trust the unparalleled knowledge and experience of Militello Realty. 856-2872 or militello.com. Supporters also include Ivy Lee Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy for over 60 years. Ivy Lee can cover your immunization needs from flu shots to the newest COVID-19 vaccine. Also CBD products, home health care, and all of your other pharmacy needs. Ivy Lee Pharmacy, 2446 Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore, or ivyleepharmacy.com. Our coverage brought to you by Pool Mart, your family fun store. Whether you're looking for a pool, hot tub, patio furniture, supplies, or more, Pool Mart has 5 locations across Western New York and Northern Pennsylvania to meet your specific need, or you can visit them online, poolmartonline.com. This broadcast has also been brought to you by Colvin Cleaners. Dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and all different garment services. Colvin Cleaners, the region's premier green earth dry cleaner. It's also where the Buffalo State team goes to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. ColvinCleaners.com, or you can visit them on Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore. Support for Buffalo State College Club Hockey also comes from Envious Gameware, the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. Find more of their products online, enviousgameware.com. And by 412 Communications, the new gold standard for digital media solutions for small businesses. 412 Communications offers consultation for web and graphic design, social media, writing and editing services, multimedia solutions, and more. Visit 412communications.com to learn how they can help your brand build bridges with the people you serve. The next Buff State game will be Friday night. It is a road game at Binghamton. The Nickel City Hockey Network will have live coverage from the SUNY Broome Ice Arena. Next weekend in Binghamton, that game, I believe, is a 7 o'clock start from Binghamton. Be sure to join us for that broadcast. But before then, we have a broadcast for you tomorrow afternoon, as it is the University of Georgia visiting Niagara University at Dwyer Arena. Puck drop is 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon for the Bulldogs and Purple Eagles. Be sure to join us on the Nickel City Hockey Network for live coverage of that game tomorrow afternoon. That's about going to do it for our broadcast here from the Northtown Center at Amherst. For color commentator John Dwyer, camera operator Jeff Jazarowski, I'm Aaron Elpern. Thank you for joining us tonight, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.